I met a gypsy.
Anyway, Regan Duffy's in the studio, everybody. Live, in the flesh. Alive and in the flesh, which is really, really good to see. So, yeah, glad you made it back from the dead to come do this podcast with us, mate.
Thanks, man. It was a bit of a mission, but we're here.
So should we just fully just start from the crash? Like, should we just get all that out of the way first and then, like, go on from there?
Yeah, we can just dive straight into that if you like.
I reckon, because, yeah. So when was it? It was...
October 17.
October. I remember getting a call from Sam saying that you'd had a big one and it wasn't good. And then, yeah, the next couple of weeks, everyone was pretty gnarly deal. So, yeah, what went down? Tell the people what went down.
Well, firstly, I have to say a lot of it is sort of been getting relayed back to me because I don't remember anything from the day. Sort of only remember the day before a little bit, and then pretty much from when I woke up and onwards till now. But from the day... seemed to have started like any other normal day, I thought, in the lead up before it. I think we need to go back a little bit further if we can. Yeah. So the Nationals got cancelled after, I think it was 4 rounds. Yeah. And that was pretty disappointing. I didn't really have a chance to try fight back against Luke for the title or whatever, so that got handed over in that sense. But then I come home to Perth and I was just doing my thing a little bit, and then we decided that I was going to race the final state round there in Perth, and I really wanted to show everyone the work I'd been putting in over East, so I trained even harder again. And yeah, I'd never been so fit in my life coming back to that race. Felt really good on the bike and everything like that.
Sick track.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be an unreal day, but that wasn't the case. But yeah, so then we went down there. It was a normal weekend, as you would, just cruise down the day before and camp the night. Yeah, I just remember like eating spaghetti and stuff with my girl and my dad the night before. Then I woke up and nurse told me, "Oh, you've just died. Like, this was 2 weeks ago." I was like, "Fuck, really?"
So you were in a coma for that long?
I was in a coma for 8 days, and then intensive care for like 2 weeks. So yeah, once I woke up from the coma, I was pretty rattled. I was on every sort of drug and machine you could possibly be put on. From what Dad said, I was on like 7 different machines all plugged into me, making my body even work. So that was pretty gnarly. But yeah, as for the crash, it was
just a first turn deal, right?
Second
turn,
yeah. So
you go left over that tabletop and then right.
Right, yeah. So as per usual, I didn't get a great start. I'm not that flash at it, but I think so. I have seen one video. It was a sort of blurry video of it, and that's the only reason I sort of know what happened. So I come out the second turn and someone's on the outside of me, and I come down the inside of them, and then they chopped straight across the front of my front wheel, and then that took the front wheel out from underneath me, and I fell onto my left side, but then onto my stomach. Yeah. And I was sort of laying across the track, and from there, another rider come out of the turn and hit some whoops, because it's a rough sand track, Bunburry, and they sort of just preloaded and jumped and pretty much frame cased the side of my ribs. Oh. So yeah, from there, that's where all the drama started, and you know, it's no fault of anyone's. It's just a racing incident, and I got really unfortunate in that aspect. But yeah, I was sort of just bleeding out on the track, and no one really knew what the go was. From what I've been told, they were treating me for punctured lungs, is what they thought it may be.
Yeah, right.
So I was sort of coughing up blood on the track and everything. And
were you conscious? Like, you didn't get knocked out?
Nah.
So you did get knocked out?
Well, I don't know. Like I said to you, I don't remember any of it. I don't know. It's I think I was like sort of half awake, but it was...
With an injury that bad though, your body was probably just like kind of shutting down.
It was shutting down. So apparently I was coughing up blood and stuff like that, and the ambos, I believe they had me on my back, and then Dad ran in and said, "Get him on his side," because I was choking on my blood. Yeah. So then they rolled me over, and apparently I just like spewed up a heap of blood, or whatever that is, spit up a heap of blood. And then, the helicopter was trying to land, and they were going to try to land on the start straight.
Yeah.
But there was people everywhere. Like, apparently everyone rushed the track.
Really?
Yeah. So they couldn't land the helicopter because there was just people everywhere. So as much as people were concerned and trying to help, it sort of fucked it up a little bit. Yeah. But in saying that, it helped in the end, because I then got rushed to Bunburry Hospital, and they sort of figured out it wasn't just lungs there was a bit more going on. So then they had to do some emergency stuff there, and unfortunately I don't really know all too much about it, but that sort of kept me going a little bit. As much as they were losing me, it helped me a touch. And then the helicopter come there to Bunbury Hospital. So then from there is when I got transferred down to the city. So they told my dad and my girlfriend that I was going to Royal Perth, which is one of the big hospitals in Perth. So dad drives all the way there, and he gets there. And
then they're going to take you somewhere else.
Yeah, and he gets to the front door, and he's like, say my name, whatever. And they're like, no, he's not here.
Fuck.
And then, so he didn't have his phone on him at this time also, or it was on silent or something. So luckily that he didn't, because he was getting calls that they had lost me on the helicopter. So...
And who was saying that? Like,
the doctor on board the helicopter had his number, because before I got put into the helicopter, they obviously transferred details and stuff, because it was going to be a touch and go flight, they thought.
Yeah.
So they would keep him updated, and they were trying to call him throughout that flight, saying that they'd lost me a couple of times. So on the helicopter...
So what was it? Do you know what like the injury was on that helicopter that was like essentially made you die?
Yeah, so I tore the aorta off my heart. So the main artery or valve to your heart, the big one on top, just pretty much tore that off.
Yeah.
So I was just bleeding out inside, and then had some broken ribs and collapsed lung. But then with the like the artery and stuff getting messed up, the aorta, that's led to me having like a traumatic cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
And then from that, had a traumatic stroke from the lack of oxygen to my brain and stuff like that. You know, it's hard for me as I don't know all the medical terms.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
But so I read in the report just before we spoke, they performed CPR twice on me, gave me 2 of the shocks to bring you back to life.
Defibrillators.
Yeah, and a few shots of adrenaline and stuff to keep me going. So it was pretty gnarly, but fortunately I didn't actually have to go through it in a sense, because I don't remember it, which I'm pretty grateful for, because if I'd remembered all of that stuff, I think it would have been pretty gnarly. Yeah. But not to say that it isn't, but
it had added a whole different layer to it.
The whole mindset thing might be a bit different at the moment compared to, right now I'm sweet. I'm still love motocross and still want to do it. So but anyway, back to the hospital side of things. So then dad went to the other hospital called Fiona Stanley, and he got there, and it was obviously like my family and friends were already there. And then I landed and I went straight into ICU to emergency surgery, and they put a stent and some artificial bits into my heart to try to keep me going, and luckily enough they were successful with it, and they were able to stabilize me to a point that I was going to survive. But like I said, I was then in the coma for 8 days after that, and then ICU for another couple of weeks. But dude, that was a heavy deal in the ICU. When I woke up, it's just the sound, like it's just like scarred in my brain. Just there's people dying down the hall from you. There's
really
and there's just the beeping, the constant beeping. Like you cannot get any rest in there. And especially at that point, like that's the point that you want to be resting. Like, sweet, I've survived now. I'm just maybe have a snooze. That's not gonna happen. There's no chance. And there was some just some terrible nights in there, just the pain and everything, because they had to open up my whole sternum. So they broke my whole sternum open because my heart and stuff.
Yeah, they had to do like full open heart.
Yeah. So, but they had to break the sternum and stuff open because it was all so swollen. So they went in from the side like you do normally. So one of the scars I've got, they told me this is where we first opened you up. And then there was like oh shit, this is bad. And then the scar continues along another 3 or 4 inches where they've opened me up even further and just gone nuts to get in there, because I shouldn't have survived.
That's so crazy, dude. The sound, like, so when you wake up, you pretty much like can't move, tubes and shit everywhere, so you couldn't really talk. So what was, I guess, like that feeling like, and how aware were you when you first woke up? Like, what was that whole kind of process like?
I felt like a zombie, honestly. I was in my brain, so not even my eyes, just in my brain. I knew what was going on around me, and I would want to reply to people, but I just could not control any of my body. Like,
really,
barely move my eyes.
And so could you, like, I guess, make an effort to, in a way, but it was like a crazy effort, like just to move your eyes sort of thing? Or?
Yeah. Oh, like, think about the most strenuous thing you can possibly do in your life, like try to pick up 200 kilos or something if you're not a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
That was like trying to move my eyes.
Wow.
And it was just so slow and just painful. Just everything hurt, everything. And it hurt mentally as much as it did physically, because I'm like, I want to tell these people I love them. Like,
yeah,
I want to tell them thank you and everything, but I just couldn't. I just had no power to do that. And it fucking sucked. But I just had to hang tight for a little bit and keep it going, but that's okay. It's everything about it was just something I'd obviously never experienced before. So it was so new to me, and it was just, winging it the whole way, where I was weighing up. Do I try, move? Do I just chill out? I just didn't know what to do. Yeah.
How like clear were you mentally? Was it a case of being sort of, or like, did you feel like yourself in a way, but you were just sort of trapped in your body? Or was it like mentally you're foggy and like not really clear what was going on? Or was it very like obvious, like, oh, this is my situation, I've had this crash? Like, did you almost feel like yourself in a sense?
For the first probably 4 days after I woke up, I was pretty foggy, like lots of weird hallucinations and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, I had Dustin Martin, the Richmond footy player, in my room. Random. I don't even really follow footy.
Random.
Yeah, so he was in there. He was just hanging out, and I remember I asked him for a photo and a signature.
Really?
And he blew me off. and Dad came in and I said, I fucking hate Dustin Martin. Like, fuck that guy. But then I had magpies flying around my room and stuff, 110s riding down the hallway. I thought it was so real.
Really?
Yeah, I walked down, this is hallucination, I walked down to a service station, like a gas station, and I walk in there to like buy an ice cream or something, and one of my friends in there, and his mum nearly ran me over on a moped. Like, it was the weirdest thing
so
ever.
Fucking random.
Yeah, and I tell these people this stuff now, and they're like, what the fuck? I don't know. That's just what happened. So yeah, there was some real weird shit going on. So I can't even remember all of it. So imagine, it'd be pretty loose. But
so the first 4 days was pretty like foggy and kind of weird. Did you have like breathing tubes and stuff in, or?
Yeah, I did. So when I'm pretty sure once I woke up, the first day or two, they took that out. But I was really struggling with that. Like, I was choking on it and stuff. But they got that out. But yeah, when I woke up, I still had all my drains and everything, like big sort of 1/2-inch tubes all around me. Had 4 or 5 of those, like 4 down the front, a few at the side. So that was pretty daunting a little bit to look down and sort of see that just poking into your stomach, I guess, and chest.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit scary. But yeah, probably after the 4th day, I started to get a little bit more clearer and could sort of look around at people and slowly talk and stuff like that. But yeah, like I say, it was just a slow process of it coming back.
Yeah.
You know, for the average person, the doctors are saying like, this is incredible. I'm like, this is shit.
Yeah.
I do not want to be here. I just want to go home.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What was I guess, like your mentality when you were kind of in there, like really in the thick of it? Like, were you mentally in a good place, do you reckon? Or was it like pretty bad mentally for you? Because, I mean, you've come out of it so good now, and it's like to get to the point where you're at now, you've had to fight like fuck to get here, essentially.
Yeah.
But it's like, did that start straight away? Like, you were just on that program, like, fuck this, I'm going to make it. I'm going to, be back riding again. I'm going to race again. Or was there a period where it was just like super fucking dark, just trying to get through it?
Oh, it had its days. Yeah. I didn't really let anyone know, but the first day that I was sort of a bit more clear-minded, my dad asked me, just sort of jokingly, like, so you gonna race anymore? And I was like, fuck that, not a chance. Like, no way. I hate motorbikes. Next day he asked me the same question. I was like, yep, yeah, we're going racing for sure. So that was a pretty quick turnaround with the motorbike side of things. But as for the mindset, I'm normally pretty good at having a positive mindset, and I was good for the most part. But there was definitely days, the hardest days were when everyone had to go. Like I was sort of all good when everyone was in the room, family, girlfriend, mates, stuff like that. When they were in the room, it was all good. But when they left and I was just on my own, it was really tough to stay positive.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was definitely some dark days in there where I was like, oh, this is bad. Why am I here? What do I do to deserve this? All those sort of thoughts run through your head. But by the next day, I'd be like, oh, it is what it is. I've just got to push through it, and it'll be good. It'll be sweet. So I just tried to keep that mindset as much as I could. But yeah, for your question, there was definitely some dark days there.
Yeah, because man, like when you're in that situation, and being in so much pain, and then a lot of uncertainty, and then I'm sure there's so much doubt. And then so you had a stroke, right, on the flight in there, and then so that left your left side, like you pretty much couldn't use it. Like when did you start figuring out the things that were wrong with your body? Because the first part of a big injury like that, you almost don't even know what's wrong, right?
No, you don't. So I knew the arm straight away. So I said to you earlier, from the shoulder down, nothing. I could just nudge it. Fortunately, my leg was fine. So I thought that was the only problem, and I was sort of just going along sweet, and they were telling me it'll hopefully come back in time. They were saying things like, if you get no improvements in 6 months, don't be upset. Some people, it takes years.
Yeah, right.
I'm like 80% now, and it hasn't even been 6 months.
Yeah.
But anyway, the night we realised something else was different, I was eating my dinner, and I was finished. I said to Dad, I'm done now. Can you take this plate? And he was like, what do you mean? And I said, what? And he grabbed my plate and just spun it around, and I'd ate perfectly down the middle of the plate. My left eye was fully blind.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had no idea. I just woke up and it was like that from when I woke up. So I thought it was all sweet. Yeah. So like a straight line down the middle, like peas and shit, straight line.
Fuck. That's hectic.
Yeah. So
what'd you think when you did that?
I was just a little bit shocked. I didn't really know what to think of it. And it was like, wow, fuck, is that going to come back?
Yeah, dude.
And that was the thing. It was scary because we hadn't even spoke about it to them. They hadn't really got to that point yet of testing all my different things. Like they were just focused on my vitals. Like, is his heart good? Is his lung good? Is his brain good? Sort of thing. Like they weren't they weren't focused on my limbs or, you know, my eyes. You can live without an eye. You can live fully blind. So they weren't too stressed at that point. But we told them, and they were like, "Oh, that's no good." But
Not ideal.
Yeah, they told us just don't stress about it. Like, it should hopefully come back, and lucky enough, it just got better and better.
How did it start coming back? Like, was it in bits?
Yeah, it was like pretty blurry. Obviously there was nothing at the start, but they would get me to wear like an eye patch over my good eye.
Oh, so it like forced it
to come back. So the good eye was just black.
Doctors are gnarly, eh?
Yeah.
It's just an answer for everything.
It's just the human body's gnarly. Like, how can you even come back from that? You shouldn't be able to. But yeah, so they started with stuff like that, and then it slowly started coming back, slowly started getting better, which was sick, you know, but it was tough. That was one of the hardest bits, was the eye, because I had no idea at the start, and then I would just I wouldn't even see someone to the left of me, no peripheral vision, like nothing. But it's all sweet now, which is good.
Yeah, because that's one of the things when you have these like massive injuries. Like, unfortunately, I've known a few people that have had these horrific injuries from racing. And it's like at the start, it's just all about, let's just get this dude alive and stable. And then you find out, the ACL's gone. There's a crack in the femur, and then your eye's not working, and then this doesn't work, and that doesn't work, and it's all stuff that just doesn't even get a chance to get looked at for sometimes like weeks after an injury.
Yeah, exactly. And my eye was 3 weeks, something like that. So maybe 2 weeks, but yeah, like you say, they focus on the main stuff, and then they focus on anything else that may be wrong with you.
Yeah, dude, you're right about the whole ICU place just being so scary. Like, I mean, hospitals are kind of gnarly. Actually, I feel like the emergency and the ICU are just the two places that you don't want to be.
No.
Like, when I broke my hip, I had to go to Gypsy Hospital, and this kid come in on, like, she broke her arm, like, riding a dirt bike at a farm or something.
Yeah.
And just, like, screaming, like, horrifically.
Like,
and then you're in so much pain, and then you're just trying to, like, get through it. And then you've got this kid that's screaming horrifically. Then you've got some junkie that's come in that's just trying to, like, fucking commit suicide. And you're just like, what is going on in this joint? And then ICU, you've just got people that are, like, literally on death's doorstep.
Yeah, it's so hard to block that stuff out, because like you say, you're trying to focus on yourself, and then you can't really just turn your ears off. You're hearing everything, and I'm a very attentive person as well, so every little thing I was hearing. But yeah, it was pretty gnarly. But for me, I don't know if I'd ever spent more than a night in hospital.
That's crazy.
It's so injury free for a motocross rider.
Yeah.
Like, what have I done? I've fractured a wrist, broke a thumb, hyperextended one elbow, and then did some ligaments in an ankle. This is like when I'm 13.
That's nothing, eh?
No, because thanks to my dad, a lot of it, and then in the later years, my coach Ross Beaton, they've really made me a clean rider. And with idols like guys I've told you earlier, Stefan Everts, so precise and such a good technique. I've always been a really safe rider. As much as I've gone fast, I've been in control the whole time, whereas there's other riders that they can go as fast, but they're completely out of control, and they're the guys that hurt themselves lots. So I have been really lucky up to this point, but it's caught up with me.
Yeah, you just picked it. You're like, oh well, when I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right.
10 more years. That's all I want. 10 more years.
Oh man, yeah, it was it was hectic, and from I guess our point of view of like people that really care about you, it was so gnarly to see. I mean, we're only just with you at Manji, and you first year in 450 class, and just killing it, and coming off everything that you kind of come off, and it's such a reality check for everyone that rides, like especially me, you know, like I'm not that good at riding, and it's like, that's the best dude, like that's the best guy in Australia that we got, and it can happen to him. It just is one of those ones that really kind of puts it all into perspective. And I remember I'd call Sam Hill, like I had a couple combos with Sam, just because and two, there's so much like bullshit that can kind of get flown, flies around when something like this happens, and then you got, like you said, the first thing you saw when you open up your phone was R.I.P. Regan Duffy.
Yeah.
And so I mean, that's like super gnarly, but I remember calling Sam and being in tears, and being like, fuck, just tell me like what's actually going on, because I knew he'd kind of know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just thinking like, fuck, we just can't lose this dude. Like, this is one of the good guys, and that's like the best guy, you know, like, and I wonder, I'm like, fuck, I wonder what this will do to the industry if you didn't make it.
Yeah, well, just to touch on like the when I woke up thing, like that was pretty gnarly to wake up and see a rest in peace Regan Duffy post. Just having a look around, like, I think I'm good.
Am I dead?
Yeah, but yeah, so many people have now told me stories, and like when I was hurt, there was all the rumors of he's not going to make it, and then it was the thing of, okay, he's stable, but he's going to be disabled. Like, he's never going to be the same Regan.
Yeah.
It makes me upset, but what can you do? I'm pretty sure my dad was contemplating turning my life support off.
Really?
Yeah, because they told him that I was going to be disabled. And
fuck,
fair enough. I wouldn't have wanted to live my life like that anyway. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there was talks of that, turning the life support off, because Dad didn't want me to live like that, which I respect 100%. And then I'm pretty sure some close friends and family sort of said, let's just give him a chance, see how he goes. And yeah, I'm very fortunate that they didn't turn it off, because I'm here and I feel normal, seem to act normal.
Yeah.
So I'm all good. But yeah, where were we going before that?
How long were you on life support for? Was it 4 days?
Yeah.
And then you come out of it.
Like that, and then I was in the coma for the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I wanted to touch on. So one thing that I said to Dad, it hurts me so much, more than any of the injuries, that I could have possibly pushed people away from the sport. Because my whole career, I've been, ever since a little kid, one day I want to own a team. I don't care if people win races. I just want to get people on bikes. I just want people to ride. Like, they need to experience this. It's the best. And I said to Dad, my whole career I've tried to bring people into this sport, and I've built up this sort of profile that I've got. I'm one of the good guys, you would say. I'm a nice guy, I'm approachable, obviously a reasonable racer. And then that one crash, I had best mates that I've ridden with my whole life, just they didn't ride until I rode.
Yeah.
I had one friend, and there was like, this is my first ride since Bunburry, and this is like 4 months later, and I was like, oh, that sucks. For the record, if I did die racing, I died doing the thing that I love the most in the world, and I would appreciate nothing more than everyone getting into it and having a go, because I'd love nothing more to see packed out gates and sold out races. It makes me so happy. So yeah, I was pretty upset when I possibly been pushing little kids away and stuff. Like, it's just a racing incident, guys. It happens. It's the game we play. But yeah, there's nothing better than this sport.
Man, it's gnarly. Like, I was there when Andrew died. I think it was a pretty similar sort of injury at Broadford. And dude, it took me like 8 years to ride. Like, I rode kind of sporadically, but I was just not interested. And I remember it was after he died, and I was living away, and then I went up to home, and I still had a bike there and stuff, and there was like a club day at one of my favourite tracks. And I did practice. I hadn't really ridden much at all, so I wasn't really riding that good. And I had like a couple little moments where, like, just little front end, and like I just got scared, scared from just the front end going, or like a little kick or whatever. And then I was sitting on the start line for the first moto, gate dropped, and I just started crying, and I didn't take off. And then I just fucking rode my bike, parked it, and Dad's like, "You all good?" And I was like, "No, I'm going home. This is fucked." So like, it just took me so long. So like, it's hard, like when you see someone that you care about, and you see everything that they go through, and then it makes you question it. But I couldn't stay away. Like after, you know, so many years. And honestly, it was this podcast that like really got me back into riding, because I was just getting to share the froth of, you know, people doing what they love with dirt bikes, and sort of brought me back around. But like, man, it's hard when you see, and like you said, like you didn't actually go through it in a sense, because you were kind of gone. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, for the people that are there, it's just like so. And then, you know, you think you're hearing like, oh, he's not going to make it, and all that stuff. Like it just puts into perspective that it's like a gnarly game that we play. But like you said, if you died doing the thing that you love the most. Yeah, it's a lot of people that would follow me on my socials and stuff would know about one of my best mates, Reese. Yeah, so I was in the race with Roo, and it was the last state round of the year, and we would have been... Was it at Bunburry as well? No, this was at Manji. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it was the final state round of the year, and I'd wrapped up the title already, and I thought, last race of the year, I'll let everyone go, and try to come through the pack again. And yeah, the one race that I let everyone go, as per usual, Reese got the whole shot because he was the best starter. Yeah. Couldn't beat the kid. And he ended up having a crash on the first lap, and I come through, and I remember just riding over the single before Rock and Roll Hill with my hand on my head, because there was just bikes everywhere. Really? Yeah, like it was like a bomb had gone off, and I rode past Reese, and he was on the top of the tabletop, and he was just laying face down, and I was just like, fuck, I hope he's okay. And then we come back around, and the race obviously got called off and stuff. I come in, and then one of my good mates, Billy Middleton, his mum was one of the medics there. Yeah. And I walked down to Kylie. She's like a strong woman, like never cries or anything. And I was like, is he gonna be right? And she just broke down. Fuck. Yeah, it's gnarly, man. Like that was sort of another thing that everyone was kind of saying, is like when you were I guess still in intensive care, or like when it was right after it happened, is everyone was saying like, oh, we don't want to go through this again, because you know, Roo was one of the guys that was, you know, one of the kind of like bright kind of dudes of WA, and it's a good dude. Yeah, man. So it's just a gnarly game that we play, eh? She's a wild sport, but I know Roo wouldn't want anyone to stop racing. Yeah. No chance. The thing is, man, more people die in cars. More people die walking down the street. Yeah. So it's just, it is one of those, you know, there's the risk. But search up how many people die a year from coconuts falling on their head. I think it's a lot. Can you Google that real quick, Rhodes? It's definitely a lot of people. But yeah, fucking gnarly, man. And just for, like WA. And WA is such like a tight knit. It's like its own, it's we're pretty far from everyone scene, so, yeah. It's like its own little ecosystem. So it's definitely, Roo hit hard back then. What year was that? 17 or 18? 18. Yeah. I think 18. Yeah, my bad if I got that wrong, but I believe it was 18. Yeah. So yeah, it was would have been my last year of juniors, I think. I was going to say, I think it was your last year of juniors, right, which was 18. So yeah, pretty tough for a bunch of 16-year-old kids like all us guys that were close with him. Yeah. You know, to see one of the boys go down like that, it was a pretty tough lick, but yeah, we all just kept going for him. Yeah. And then, like I said, I would want people to do the same for me. So it's just the love you have for this sport. Yeah, man. Do you find that, Rones? Yeah, 150. 150 people a year die from coconuts, so fucking it could happen to anyone. There you go. Be careful when you go on holidays, people. Spend your money on dirt bikes. Yeah. So when you got out of the hospital, what kind of shape were you in? Like physically, 1 to 10? I don't know. I was in hospital for a while. How long were you in hospital for? Over a month. Fuck. Yeah. It's a long stint, eh? They told me I was going to be in there 6 months. Really? Right now, doing this podcast, I should still be in hospital for what they said. That's insane, eh? Yeah, and I've been back riding my dirt bike. So, yeah. Anyway, I was pretty busted up for a while, and a lot of it,
towards the end of my stint there was doing the rehab and stuff for my arm.
So why were you in hospital that long?
It was like the precautions for everything.
Yep.
Just to monitor me, see how everything was healing. They had to keep a really close eye on me because it was obviously, it was a major injury, and it was a fine line of stuff could go wrong. For example, when I did get out of hospital, I was home for 2 weeks, and then I got like crazy pneumonia and had to go back into hospital and get my lungs drained. So I had, out of one lung, I had like a pint of fluid.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What was it like breathing?
Like the tiniest breaths. And
No
like,
shit. How did it come on quick?
yeah, in absolute agony, like
Really?
crazy. I couldn't sleep. Yeah, it was really bad, and I always try just fight through anything. Like I won't tell Dad if I'm hurt or sick or whatever, and I come out and I was like, yeah, we gotta go back. So yeah, it was not good.
So you in there for a month, were you able to like walk around? Like, did you get to start to like actually do some rehab sort of stuff?
Yeah, so after probably 2.5, 3 weeks after the accident, they started to get me to like stand up just to see how I'd go. And then they would let me do like 5 steps holding on to me, and it just built up like that. And then I posted a video on my story the other day. That was the first day they let me walk up and down the hall. And that was after a fair bit of trying as well.
Really?
Yeah, the first time I tried to go out, I kept putting my feet like in front of each other and like tripping over my own feet.
Like that.
Yeah, crossing over. I forgot how to walk. So yeah, that was really weird because someone like me, I've always been such an athletic person, sports, like anything, running, and just to not even be able to walk, I was like, wow, this is a big deal, hey.
It's gonna take a minute.
Yeah, so I was walking down the hallway and just slowly getting better and better, and then that the video that I posted is the first day that I was able to just walk normally, and he sees a smile on my face. I'm like, oh, this is unreal. But even that, it was so hard. I'd be like walking in a straight line and then just unintentionally sway to the right, nearly cark it, sway to the left, I nearly tuck the front. But yeah, I just over time it just gets better and better.
And is that because of the stroke?
Yeah, I think it had a bit to do with it.
Yeah.
It's not fully because of that. It's sort of just the trauma to my body and then not moving for so long. Like the laying down in bed for ages was bad. I got a big scar on the back of my head from where they were sort of so focused on getting the rest of my body right, they didn't think about like bed sores or anything. So basically I was maybe moving or twitching a little bit whilst I was in the coma and stuff like that, and then it just literally wore a hole in the back of my head. So I've got some photos I'll show you after. It's
dude
gnarly. It's pretty yuck, but now I've got a cute little bald spot on the back. So.
Chicks dig scars, bro.
Yeah, fuck. I don't know if they dig bald dudes yet, but maybe when I'm older it'll come in and work.
Yeah, no, there's heaps of bald dudes. A good pussy, don't worry. So then you get home, and like at what point do you think like, all right, I'll be able to ride again?
The crash was October 17. I got home and I was perched on the couch. How's my dog was like busted at the time as well.
Really?
Yeah, she got ran over.
Oh,
so we were both just laying in the living room together, perched up, wounded as. Fuck. It was the perfect thing because normally she'd be buzzing.
Yeah.
So we were just watching Foxtel all day, Netflix and whatever. But yeah, it was pretty sure from memory, it was December 25, Christmas.
Oh,
I had my first ride on the pit bike, just around the lawn and stuff. And I didn't post that for ages.
I remember you sent that to me before.
Yeah. So the big post I did, like the release of everything, I put that video in, but it was from, a fair bit before. It could have even been earlier than that. But I didn't want to post a video of me riding that pit bike around so early because from that point on is when you get hassled about when are you coming back, when are you riding again, are you going to race again. So that's why I kept everything so quiet, because I was just going through 99 plus message requests like over and over and over, and it was not good. I appreciate the support,
but it's a lot.
It was just a lot to take on in that time when I'm sort of trying to focus on myself. And I've got a thing I try to reply to everyone, because I just feel bad if I don't. So I was just going through. So if I haven't replied to one of your messages, thank you. Like I would have seen it. I couldn't spend 3 weeks straight replying to thousands of messages, but yeah, thanks a lot.
So you get back on the pit bike, and at what point do you start to be like, oh, I'm fucking racing, like I'm back? Because did stuff start to come back kind of quickly for you?
First ride back on that pit bike, just on the lawn, like that I've got on video, easier than walking.
Really?
100% easier than walking.
That's sick.
It was like so much easier. I straight away just felt like I could put the bike wherever I wanted it. I remember we stopped recording and I was like, Dad, I'm going to be back. Don't you worry. I've still got that feeling.
That's so sick.
Yeah, and I was so happy. Like, I nearly couldn't sleep that night. I was just so pumped that because I was nervous. I was going to get back and, which side's the throttle on. I had no idea what it was going to be like. So I was really happy when I jumped on, and it still felt like I was at home. But as for the racing and stuff, to be honest, it was probably then I was like, I'm going to race again. But I just slowly started building my way up, and there's this company, you would have seen the e-bikes that I've been riding. So there's eBMX Extreme. Yeah. And Matt, the distributor in WA, he's been helping me out with a bike, and we started off on just a small little electric bike, maybe like 65 size. Yeah. And just had it toned right down, and it's mountain bike brakes, so on the bars. Yeah. Which is, pretty easy. And then I just started on that, started just rolling around my supercross track at home, just, making jumps out of little singles and stuff like that. And then once I got a little bit more comfortable and strong on that, we moved up to the one I'm on now. It's like it's called a Suron X. Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, it's crazy. It does over 100 Ks an hour. Like
that's insane.
Honestly, you get on an e-bike, and I know you've got some stuff in the works. Yeah. You get on an e-bike and it will blow your mind.
Really?
Like this smile. Oh my God. Sickest thing you'll ever ride. Honestly, I couldn't give a shit when e-bikes take over. They're that fun.
Really?
Oh my God. They're the best.
Yeah,
If you're listening, get an e-bike. They are the best. Anywhere, anytime. No one even hears you. Like the urban spots that open up on an e-bike. Like, when you're driving down the road and you see something, like, that'd be so sick to hit on a motorbike.
Yeah.
I'm going to go there today on the e-bike. No one's even going to know I'm there, and it's going to be sick. That's what it's like.
Yeah, I'm frothing. We go to Spain to ride the Stark in May, and like we just got one day riding it at like the track. But dude, as soon as I can get one, I'm just fucking frothing. I mean, dude, even you'll be able to set like 250 FPR, race the 250 class, 450 FPR, race the 450 class, like
80 HP.
There's just so many like insane advantages that is going to happen. Anyone that's hating on them now, they just don't know. Like, wait till we're all riding in our fucking backyard.
I just think people that are hating on them haven't ridden them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, other than my dad, he'll be listening.
Is he hating on them?
He got on it. He was like, this thing's a piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
But he's just like old school.
Yeah.
Grew up on two strokes. So
yeah, if it's not a CR500, you can fuck off.
Yeah, he's got one of them in the shed. So that's his baby. But
and so you go from Suron back, and then you start stepping up.
Yeah, and then Honda helped me out with CRF 125, like the pit bike. Yeah. So we couldn't get one here, but then Honda over East helped me out. So shout out to them guys. They got one over to WA for me through West Coast Honda, Justin. Yep. And then I started riding that, and it was a little bit more moto like, same sort of feel, and the heavier bike. So that was the next step. And then after a few weeks on that, got on the 450. So I'd walk out into the shed, like the workshop, every day and try to pull my clutch in on the 450
because your left hand's the one
left hand was so weak.
Yeah.
So, and I couldn't do it for weeks and weeks. And then after riding the e-bikes with the just the mountain bike, so it'd be the rear brake on your left. And it's not the same everywhere in the world, but it's on the left there. So
if you're not a kook, it's on the left.
Exactly. So just from using that brake all the time, I didn't even realize that it was getting stronger. And then I got on the CRF and it was pretty light clutch and I was able to do it. Because with my hand, I can only use my index finger at the moment.
Yeah.
The pinky and the ring finger aren't strong enough to hold on if I do index and middle finger on the clutch.
Yeah.
So I had to work on just index.
Yeah. So
I had the whole grip strength.
Have you thought about getting a recluse?
Yeah, I have, but I just want to get back to normal.
Yeah, true.
It's getting there anyway, so I want to be able to sort of do that. But
I suppose because if you go to get that, then you're not going to use it.
I'm going to have to ride a recluse every bike I ride.
True.
But so then I was able to do that, and then after a few weeks on it built up, and I walked into the shed, and I pulled it in, no worries. And I was like to Dad, I'm riding. When? Now. Getting geared up. So I got geared up and went for a trail ride with one of my best mates, Harry. And then, we went for a cruise, and it was hard. Like, there was a few times where big 450 clonking along, I stalled it a few times. Yeah. Like, tight turns on a trail ride, trying to, turn around if you did a wrong turn. But, it was fun. We went up, rode up to one of the local pubs down the coast, had a palmy, rode back home, and it was like, this is sick. And then pretty much from there, it was like back to normal, riding 3 days a week, just trying, not going fast or anything, just being on the bike and getting back into it, I suppose.
So what was so now you've started like riding again properly, right?
To an extent, yeah.
To an extent. What, because I think the thing that I'd always wonder if I was in your position is like, how's my brain going to deal with the speed? Is it going to feel the same when I ride? So when you do try and go faster, like, does the speed still feel the same to you?
Now, yes. At the start, no. At the start, It was like when you watch Star Wars or something and the stars coming at you.
So that's what it's like for me all the time. That never went away.
Why do you ride? That's so scary.
Oh, it's fucking very scary.
But at the start it was really scary. The first ride on the 450, I was like, holy, these things are fast. But after time, it's sort of just your eyes readjust to it. And obviously, because I have been able to go at that speed before, I feel like a lot of my body has come back quicker than a normal person because A, I was the fittest I'd ever been before, and B, it's just the muscle memory. Like, all this stuff comes so natural to me now because, I'm only 19, but this is 17 years deep in the game now. I am. I got a KDX 50 for my second birthday. So I'm pretty deep in the game. So it's all come back super quick, which I'm fortunate about. And now I can go as fast as I want, but it's just down to the hand and the arm being a bit weak at the moment. Yeah. So the last couple of weeks, the week before round one of the Nationals at Wonthaggi, I come back down just to see everyone, and Ross Beaton lent me his bike, and the last couple of weeks I've been riding that. So I've pretty much just been back on the program with the boys, trying to do the motos and stuff. And there's only been 1 or 2 times that I haven't been able to finish a moto.
Like 30?
Just 25s plus 2 or something.
Fuck.
So, but now, the last day I rode at PBI, the track down there, it was good. I qualified only like a few seconds off some of the faster guys, so I was stoked with that. It's coming back real quick.
Man, it's insane. Like, it's crazy to think that everything that you went through, and it's only been 5 months since it happened, and just like the level of like focus and kind of commitment from your end,
and I don't know, I could have been better so far. I have fucked around a little bit, and once I got better, I was like, have some drinks with my mates and mess around, and I have been a bit of a shithead here and there, as my dad and Ross would tell you. But yeah, I'm trying.
Did you feel like you needed that though?
I think so. Yeah, I think so, and I think that's why I wanted to do it so bad, because it was like locked up for so long, just being sick and everything, and then I sort of just wanted to let loose a little bit. But I feel like I had to do that to get it out of the system. But
and I mean, not even just that. I mean, look at your life. Like, we'll sort of, once we I guess get through this, we'll talk about the career side of things. But it's like fucking crazy career so far.
Yeah.
You know, to be 19 and to like, you've just been on the grind your entire life, and then you do die, and then you come back, and it's just like, I mean, I get it. You know, you want to kind of fuck around for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of, I guess there'd be a lot that built up during that time, you know?
Yeah. Nah, I'm at the point, it's like I want to ride dirt bikes. That's all I care about. So I just stick with that and I'll be back.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, well, man, it's crazy, and I appreciate you, going into detail and stuff. Like, I know that there's a lot of people that'll be very, I guess, obviously glad to hear that you know, made it back to this point, but yeah, just crazy to hear the fucking detail of, you know, exactly what went down, man.
Yeah, well, like I said, I wish I knew more. I don't remember a lot of it, so to be honest, there'd probably be a gnarlier story underlying somewhere, but
yeah,
that's the bits I can relay to you guys, so yeah, it's pretty wild as it is, so yeah.
And then, so what's your plan now? Like, just keep building and, you know, like come back for maybe like next season, or?
Yeah, like I think next season's realistic. That's where I could probably be good to go again. Anything earlier, I think would be pushing it.
Yeah.
But
there's no real reason.
No, that's it. The season's gone now. Like, it's done. I'm not stressed about it at all. So yeah, I'll just keep building up and keep getting better and better. And yeah, I'm just not even going to set a goal, because when you set a goal, you're going to be upset if you don't reach it. So
yeah, I'm
just going to be happy with wherever I end up. And yeah, I'll just continue my training and hope that it happens sooner rather than later.
Yeah. What do you think about them cancelling it was random, but I just had the thought, cancelling the series after 4 rounds last year?
I mean, my perspective, it sucked, but what do you do? It's a global pandemic. It's a lot bigger than Prime X.
Yeah.
I suppose you just had to do what you had to do. But yeah, from my opinion, it sucked. I didn't get the chance to try to come back and be better. Yeah, I had a shit of a last round. Yeah,
that was there was such a weird deal last year with the way that the last couple of years, how everything went down. I mean, and so your last year of juniors, this is fucking crazy for people that don't know. Your last year of juniors was 2018. 2019 you do the MXD, and then you went 2020 450 class.
Yeah. No.
Or
2020 was COVID year.
Yeah, then you did then it was COVID, and then 2021 straight into the 450 class.
Yeah, so I went from
so it's been a like crazy
450s
crazy ride so far for that career.
Yeah, well, it's progressed quickly, that's for sure, but it's hard. I'm a bigger guy. I'm like, 6'2", 82 kilos. So
man child.
Yeah, it's tough on a 250. And I suppose if you had a factory 250, you could make it work. But even for the level in Australia, like our factory 250s aren't factory 250s.
No, it's just a race bike anyone can build, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. You can buy all those parts. There's nothing too hidden or secret about them. So yeah, me and my dad had a good talk about it, and I was riding the 450 well, and obviously when I was 16 I won man up on the 450, and that's like one of the toughest races in Australia, so yeah, we knew I could ride it. And then the thing that we were sort of just umming and ahhing a little bit about between myself and Ross and Dad was just, can you maintain that for a whole season? It's all well and good to do it for one day, but are you going to be strong enough to back that up weekend after weekend? So that's where we obviously just went into grind mode, and yeah, I was good. I was the problem with me, honestly, in 2021, I felt like I wasn't even getting warmed up. I was a little bit too like diesel, ready to go at the end. I needed, for when I come back now, like I need to work on my sprint speed.
Yeah.
Start and sprint hard for 5 laps, and you know that's where someone like Luke Cloud is so good. He can be 8th into the first turn, come out second, and have a 10-second gap by the 3rd lap.
Yeah.
Like his sprint speed is incredible, and that's why he's the reigning champion. You know, I just didn't have that for him.
You said something before, just to go back on being the fittest you've ever been in your life when you had that crash. That would have played such a huge role in your recovery, eh? Like obviously your age, and then the fact that you were so fit.
Oh, and they told me that over and over.
Really?
I was laying in bed one day. I just had my lunch. This is in hospital. I think I was still in ICU. It's one of my last days in ICU. And one of the top doctors, like the guy in the full lab coat and everything, rolls around and he walks to the end of my bed and he puts both hands on the end of my bed and he like looked at the ground and he was like, looked up at me, what the fuck? And walked away. I was like, morning.
G'day, mate.
Yeah, good to see you too. But yeah, they were really surprised. I had like teams of doctors and nurses just walking around, like, you know, this is Regan, he just did this, and they're like, what? Wow. Like they read my report and you can just see they're blown away that I'm sitting there eating cereal, looking normal. So yeah, they said to me, if you weren't that fit, dead.
Yeah.
No ifs or buts. Like,
You're not supposed to live from that. Like,
no.
when you
not at
tear
all.
your aorta off your heart, like you're supposed to bleed out in a couple of minutes and die.
Yeah.
That's the fucking program.
Yeah, it's a gnarly deal. And yeah, they've said to me time and time again, if you weren't this fit and your age, that's it. Like, you are so lucky. So yeah, got a lot of angels looking out for me, that's for sure.
Did you have any I guess like perspective shifts when it comes to life? Like, you're pretty young, so I mean there's still so like they're growing even between like 19 and 29. Like, you'll be a completely different person. It's just part of growing up. But did you have any kind of like real perspective shifts or anything like that when you were sort of going through it? Or do you have like a different outlook on things now after like going through what you went through?
Yeah, I do. One of the regrets I actually have is when I first sort of got a little bit better, when I was still in hospital. I went through like a bit of a negative sort of stage, like a fuck the world stage.
Yeah.
And I regret that now. I was pretty, rude to girlfriend, friends, family. I do regret it, but it was a tough stage to go through. I didn't really know how else to combat it, but it was a really like I said before, a why me sort of deal. And I was just like, fuck this place, fuck these people, fuck the doctors, like they don't know what's right for me. And it was so stupid now I think about it, because they're the only reason that I survived. But from there I did sort of move on from that, and now it's like I just want to do my thing. I just want to have fun. I want other people to have fun. Yeah, I just want to live a good life and race my dirt bike professionally, hopefully.
Yeah. So let's go back to the start. We'll be done with that. It's fucking insane. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it, mate. Yeah, just worried. Don't do it again.
Yep. I won't.
But so let's just go back into like the moto kind of career. So you got into it at 2. So is your dad just like a full diehard moto dude?
Yeah, so like a bit of sort of backstory on my dad is he was actually a really good racer himself.
Yeah, right.
Just
makes sense.
He never really got out of WA or anything. He was a good junior, could have won a few national titles, but had a bit of bad luck and stuff like that. But the thing that stopped him, he broke his leg. And then the story goes, girls, drinking, stuff like that from the injury. And he said that was the end of him. That's why my dad's pretty strict on me with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially, like I said before, when I was mucking around a little bit, like he wasn't happy because he didn't want me to go
down
that same
road,
thing,
yeah.
you know, because it was sort of a what could have been deal with him.
Yeah.
So,
which he'd know, like he probably lives with that, you know, regret in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he's moved on now, of course, but I think even now, like if my dad jumps on a bike next to me, whole shot me every time, guaranteed, no matter what bike we're on. Like he's such a good starter, and he always gives me so much shit about my starts. But yeah, he's a really good rider. So that's
why
where
do you
it sort
get
of come
shit
in.
starts? Like, because there's some guys, I'm fucking so curious. Dylan Ferrandis, shit. So shit at getting starts. Has not got a start all Supercross season. One of the best riders in the world. You, one of the best riders in the world, can't get a fucking start. How hard is it? Why? What? Why?
If I knew, I wouldn't be getting shit starts, Jace.
I know, but we've got to figure it out.
I want to.
I don't understand how there's guys that can be so good at riding that just can't do that.
Somebody DM me with the response to that question, because I don't know. I really try. I get some starts that are like, I just would have whole shot Mark Lessie then.
Yeah.
And then I get other starts like 7th place, 65 C grade.
Yeah. I don't
That's what I would have got just then. I don't understand. I do the exact same thing every time. My dad says it's my throttle control. He says I've got shit throttle control and shit feel for my bike. So he's probably right. He's a good starter.
Yeah, I just don't get it, eh? I just don't understand, like, especially like Ferrandis.
I know.
That's a puzzle, man. Like how you can be so good at riding.
And on a star bike.
Yeah, but just cannot get a fucking start.
Yeah. It should be a recipe for whole shots, but I don't know.
Gotta work on that, mate.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, you got your old boy Savage, gets you on a bike, and I always wonder with guys like you, were you just always super talented from the jump? Like, I just wonder how that shit works.
Yeah, I sort of just gelled with dirt bikes really quickly, and you know, for Christmas every year, I would ask for a pile of this dirt. You know how they make what they make BMX tracks out of, like that blue metal sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The ground down stuff.
Yeah.
Christmas, they'd get me a truckload of that dirt. I just build push bike jumps all day, every day. So things like that. And I don't know, I feel like my dad maybe had a plan in the back of his head with it, because he would encourage it so much. But like
the BMX and stuff.
Yeah, like my timing was always super good, and my fitness was obviously good because I did so much outdoors sort of things. Dad got me like a little electric trials bike, so my balance was always really good. And man, pit bikes, massive into pit bikes. Dad was like, pit bikes all day. Every day after school, me and my best mate Matt, pit bikes until dark.
That's sick.
And it's like, Dad says it to me now, and it sort of clicked with me. The reason why I can make a bike go so fast is because of the years on pit bikes, learning to ride a motorbike to its maximum.
Yeah.
Clicks. Does the same thing on big bikes. Now I know how to get the most out of a bike.
Yeah.
So as much as people hate on pit bikes, because they are pretty deadly sometimes, but it's a massive part of why I'm the racer I am now.
Man, so Matty, he got a TTR 125 for, that was like his first bike.
Yeah.
And he used to race that thing against like the 85s. And man, like that same deal, that bike was just flat everywhere. And he is such a good rider now. And I would watch him like literally come into every turn and just be like, oh, the whole way around every turn, and all the other kids are on these 80s and they're like barely on the throttle until they're fully out of the turn. And like his corner speed now and like the way he rides a bike is so good. And I think it's a similar thing. Like he just had the slowest fucking piece of shit ever, and he raced against all these fast guys, and he like had to figure out a way how to do it.
Yeah. No, so it's things like that my dad has been really smart with to put me in those sort of situations, and it's really sort of built me as a rider through my whole career. But I don't know, like I remember my first race, so I remember my first ever race. How weird.
How old were you?
3.5.
Fuck, that's crazy.
We told him I was 4 because you're not allowed to race till you're 4. I still remember the lady looking down at me going, it's a pretty small 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Dad was like, yeah, he's little. So anyway, we go down the line. I did the race. I remember, you know, when you see them kids that are just getting lapped and they're like looking around, everyone going past them.
Yeah.
That was me. I was like watching everyone go past me, and I was just crying and like, fuck, this? Like, why am I so slow? But anyway, it kept going. I just got better and better. But I was bridesmaid for so many years.
Really? Who was beating you?
In 50s, there was a kid called Lewis Collier who I'd be like best mates with after the race.
Yeah.
Toy modies, hated each other on the track, and he'd always beat me. And then after that, he sort of finished after 50s. I think there was I don't know whether there was a little bit of family stuff or something like that. And then we went to 65s, and my arch nemesis from there until nearly 85 big wheels was a kid called Jacob Daniels.
Yeah, right.
And 2 years in a row, he beat me in the state titles and shook my hand at the end of the race. He said, "Don't worry, Regan, there's always next year." Burnt me. So the next year, so like the third year of racing him in the 65s, because I was bawling my eyes out when he said that to me. And the next year I beat him and he was bawling his eyes out, and I said, "Don't worry, Jacob, there's always next year."
Oh, fucking hell.
He will laugh when he hears that. But yeah, so I finally from there, so like end of 85 small wheels, or maybe had another year left of 85 small wheels, that's when I started like winning a little bit more, just like so hungry to win, and no one really, my dad a little bit, but no one really instilled that in me. I just yeah, the boys on my program now with Ross, they know like I will like actually make myself sick if I don't win.
Yeah,
I've got something wrong with me. I hate losing. So yeah.
Do you like winning or you hate losing?
That's the thing. It's like, what is it?
Yeah, because for me, when especially, well, I can't win motocross, so I don't really give a fuck about that. But in jiu-jitsu, I can win, and it's like I almost hate losing more than I like winning. I don't really care to win as much as I just don't want to fucking lose.
I honestly think you've hit the nail on the head. Like I'll be stoked when I win.
Yeah, it's like oh, that's
like
cool.
Obviously, like, yep, cool. But then at the same time, you're like, that's what I worked for. I don't train to lose. Like I train to win. So when you win that, it's like good. Like,
it makes sense.
Good job.
Yeah.
When you lose, it's like, oh, what are you doing?
I just hate the feeling of like I feel like I've let everyone down.
Yeah.
Or I hate if someone's come to watch and I'd lose.
Yeah.
It would just be the shittest feeling. So I just want to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, I'm just my own biggest critic with everything. Yeah, when I lose, I come in and I'm in the recent years try not to lose my shit, because I've probably had a few meltdowns that I shouldn't have had. But yeah, I definitely have a good long hard look at myself in the mirror and try to sort it out for the next race. But yeah, so in juniors I wasn't so much the winning guy until I was probably 13, and then from when I was 13 with the local stuff I sort of started winning everything in WA, like probably from when I was 14. I was probably like the quickest guy in WA, junior or senior.
Yeah,
So,
really?
So yeah, from there I definitely got a lot faster.
What clicked, you reckon?
I think I always had like the right skill set, but then when I was 13 I grew a lot.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, I could just manhandle the bike a lot better than some other kids could. So I was pretty lucky with that I got big quickly. So you see a lot of guys like Roxon and Hurlings, even when they first come into GPs and they were like 15, like, they were big 15-year-olds. So yeah, I had the right build for it, and yeah, everything sort of just clicked in that aspect. But yeah, well, I think I got 4 or 5 junior titles, and I have one in 65, 85, 125 and 250. So yeah, I've got 4 junior titles and then the under 19s title.
Yeah. I reckon it's funny you say about like growing. I think that we're entering an era now in motocross where like bigger guys, it's like really going to start to become a huge advantage to be a bigger guy. So like I look at Chase Sexton as the guy, like he's deadlifting fucking massive numbers and he's like doing these like proper squats, and his legs, dude, are just like fucking tree trunks. And you can see him. There was one, I can't remember what race it was, but there was one berm in particular. It's where this year they jumped the finish line, and then you had that right-hander into a whoop section and then the triple. And like you could just see the way that he was like forcing the bike into this rutted berm with his legs. And you just see that it's kind of the first time that like power is becoming an important thing in racing. And like I see that when you ride, there's like a really like fucking binding down on the bike with your legs. And then, you know, you see like Malcolm's doing really well at the moment. Tomac's always been a pretty solid dude. So I think we're actually kind of entering an era where it's almost like the techniques evolved. Dude, Jet as well, we're talking about in the car, like Jet's fucking massive for an 18-year-old. I think that in the years past, the technique hadn't caught up for the bigger guys in a way, but now the way that you guys are riding the bike, it's like the legs are real far back and then the upper body comes down flat. So I just really think that it's a huge advantage now to be a bigger guy.
Yeah, well, what's the top dudes in the early 2000s? Ricky, James, Chad. Short.
Yeah.
Now it's like Tomac, Anderson, and Mookie, guys like that. They're bigger. I think the taller guys are now finding a way to ride with that technique, you know, ride around being so tall. So perfect example, like you said, is Chase or Dean Wilson. Has a really good style. Whereas back in the day, like them bigger dudes, they might have been hunchback and you know, their big flipper feet hanging off the sides. But now the bigger guys, we've sort of figured a way that we can do the right technique and really make it work for us, because we've got so much leverage being taller and, like you said, being stronger. I'm stoked that I'm a tall guy, that's for sure.
What are you thinking about technique wise when you're riding, like body position wise and stuff? Do you have any like kind of cues in your head or like things that you think about when you're riding to like get into that position?
Just toes. All I think about is my feet.
Yeah, really.
I feel like the rest really follows for me, but I really try to work on my feet, being, you know, on the balls of your feet or on the toes. Like, yeah, really over exaggerate that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then it's just like a second set of suspension for you.
Yeah.
So I think that's a massive thing. And then, you know, keeping your hips unlocked and your back straight. That's always been a hard one for me, the back straight. And I've been trying to work on that a little bit in the recent years, but I do have a bit of a hunchback when I ride. Yeah. So
yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So like Christian Craig or something, like picture perfect. That's how I'd like to look on a bike. Chase Sexton, I can't fault him other than his head is down a little bit. You notice but I think he's one of those guys that rides with his head down but then his eyes up. Yeah. So it's a little bit deceiving. Yeah. But yeah, if I could just tweak one thing on Chase, I'd just lift his helmet up a touch. Yeah. And then he's like, perfect.
How do you, when you say like unlock the hips, how do you like think about doing that?
I don't know. You sort of just feel like you're just rolling your hips out and just poking your ass out a little bit. Just keeping a flat back. You know, it's a difficult thing to do, and it's something that, like I said, I have struggled with when I ride, but I think it's one of those things, with time, it'll become natural. I still remember the first ever day at Ride Park Vic when I was 14 with Ross, and he was telling me to ride on my toes. And I was like, this guy has no idea. What? This is stupid. How can you even ride fast like this? And now I cannot ride any other way. It's just become habit. And if I was to ride, flat foot or duck foot, I would suck.
Dude, I see Verb always post that Stu's Day. On every Tuesday they post clips of Stu. His feet were like that.
Oh my God. I said to someone not even a week ago,
crazy.
Can you imagine if James Stewart rode on his toes?
Oh, dude. I thought the exact same thing. I was watching, it was like a clip from like High Point or something like that. And knowing what you know now of like the way that everybody rides, if he was riding on his toes, like holy shit.
Perfect season's over and over. Probably. Who knows? Because he would just get that wild. He had like no grip or anything, and he would just get loose as. But always death gripped the bars, never had a finger on the clutch. So if you notice, he'll be going through the whoops, front wheel starts to come up, it's gone. There's no bringing it back. And I heard a story, it was apparently because when they were younger they couldn't afford clutches, so his dad taught him to ride without the clutch.
Really?
Yeah,
I'd believe it.
Yeah, I would too. And, you know, I respect the shit out of that. Like, that's awesome.
Nowadays, that was one thing that Ricky and Chad actually, when they were doing the podcast at AusX, they sort of had a dig about the riders these days and like how much they use the clutch. So I actually don't think Ricky and Chad and those guys used the clutch that much either back then.
No, but I don't burn through clutches. I never burn through clutches. People take the piss with it these days. And like, as much as it's getting, you know, your bikes pull out the turn, a lot of it is fear as well. Because when I first got on the 450, I raped the clutch for the first week. Yeah, my dad was like, "What are you doing?" Because the front end would come up and I'd be like, order, trying to keep it down. Yeah. So it goes both ways. There's like this perfect happy medium that you need to get in. And yeah, now like I never burn out clutches. Yeah. And I go just as fast as anyone. So it'd be worse on 250s, but 450 guys, I don't know. I don't think you need to do it that much.
Man, Tomac literally just puts the thing on the stop and then it's just all clutch for the entire lap.
Yeah. I laughed that thing that you said, like, who destroys a 450 in 20 minutes?
That's where he's at though, it's like, dude, a 450 would last me 2 years. 450 lasts him 20 minutes. It's just like a disposable fucking bike at this point. It's like one of those Kodak cameras that you just one night out on the piss and then it's done.
20 photos, throw it in the bin.
Oh, it's hectic, man. Yeah. But yeah, he's just one of those dudes that's just like, there was, what race was it? Phoenix, where I think it was the first one that he won for the year. There was that long, I guess you were coming across the start straight and then you go right into the finish line. And like he come out of that turn and the thing was just on the stop as he comes into the turn. It's like, the whole way down. It's like, fuck, you're an animal, bro.
Oh, but it's crazy to see when the two different styles meet. So for example, Wonthaggi on the weekend, first round of the Australian Championship, I watched Clout go through, like revving the shit out of it. Yeah. And then I watched Webster go through. Was he on an e-bike?
Dude, like he's got a crazy good style, Webster.
He's getting really good. But it shows, that top level, there can be such different styles and techniques to make that speed work. But like somewhat to ride at the style or like the aggression level that Luke has, fuck, he must be strong, man. Like, really strong. Whereas, Webster's the strongest guy I know, but so efficient, his style. And I believe that's the way of the future.
Yeah. So you said before 2014 Ride Park Vic was the first time you worked with Ross. That's crazy. I didn't know you guys went that far back.
Oh, no. I was 14.
Oh, you were 14, not 2014.
Yeah, it would have been.
But still, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, it would have been late 2016 or 2017. Yeah. But yeah, it's been pretty full on since then with Ross. So I remember that first day. So from day one, my dad liked Ross because of this. So my dad's a real straight shooter for anyone who doesn't know. So I come in from my first little ride and Ross goes, "How do you think you felt out there?" I said, "Oh yeah, pretty good. Like, I'm going all right." "Well, I think you look shit." I'm like, "Oh." And my dad's like, "Yeah,
my man."
yeah, he looked shit, didn't he? Oh, getting in on it.
That's fucking awesome.
Oh, and I was like, "This guy, who even are you?" And then, working with Ross, he's a beast. He'd still get on the bike right now and like wax me for a lap.
Really?
So talented.
Yeah, man. He is insanely talented. Like, what was it? Injuries that stopped him?
I think
riding?
It was a femur.
Yeah, he had like a bad injury, and then
he was on CDR.
That's right.
And then I believe he broke his femur, and from there is when he got into a bit of coaching while he was injured with Jed.
Yep.
And then, it sort of just progressed from there, and I think he fell in love with it a little bit. So from that point on, he sort of honed his craft. And now I speak to some people that started with Ross real early, and they said the thing that's changed with Ross is now he's so good at like telling you what you need to do, but why you need to do it. Yeah. And that's obviously a thing that I've worked with Ross for years now, and that's the thing that he is good at. He can tell you what to do, but why you need to do it. Yeah. I could tell you that get off your brakes and go around that corner. Yeah. Why? Yeah. Keep your flow. Like, just things like that Ross is really smart and structured with his training. So that's why I think his deal works.
So what's that whole program like down there? Because it seems like that's the first Aussie kind of like baker's factory type of deal, where there's like a bunch of the top guys, you're all riding together, you're all on these kind of crazy tracks. Like, how does that setup work?
Yeah, well, it's sort of like just you do your payment thing with Ross or whatever, and then so I think he has 3 guys that stay with him full time at his house. I stay with the Townsend family down in Wonthaggi, which shout out to them, they're amazing. Then Webster and Teeny live together 15 minutes down the road, and then a few other guys come from a little bit further away. But we're all reasonably close, and then we might have, what would it be? I reckon it would be 5 or 6 tracks within an hour that we've got, and we just revolve around them. And a lot of it is dependent on weather and stuff. Can we get water on there, whatnot? But yeah, we structure it like race days pretty much. And then, like you said, having those top guys there, being able to ride with them every day and I suppose race with them in quotation marks. But yeah, it just gets that intensity up. You know, you can do a million laps on your own, but you're going to go to a race day and you get smoked because you don't have that intensity. So yeah, Ross has this new thing that he's figured out with another guy's dad from the group, like a lap time board.
Oh yeah.
So we've all got transponders and stuff now. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but sorry, Ross. But we've got transponders and stuff now. So he can really get back to the coaching side of things and give us the tips, because he has these go-kart stopwatches. That have like 6 different things on them. Yeah. I know shit. I've seen that guy with 3 of them around his neck and a phone. Yeah. Timing 15 of us. Like crazy how he does it. I don't know how. How he's done it for that long is beyond me. But now we've got these transponders and then the board. So the line will be down here and 20 metres up the track will be your number and then your lap time. Yeah. So the whole motor, we can just, look at our times, and he's giving us what we need on the pit board. And then, it just does all that side of things. So that's really good. That's a new addition, which is, I think, going to help us a lot, because like I say, when Ross has been so tied up with his stopwatches and stuff,
he's not really watching what's going on. It
just makes it hard for him to, like, he still sees stuff, but I think now it opens up the door for coaching and tips a little bit more, which is good.
And so and then do you do all the strength and conditioning stuff there as well? Yeah,
so this year it's changed a little bit, but last year when I was on it full time, we were all going through John Park. I don't know if you've heard of him. So JP Sports Physio, and he writes us all up our program and stuff that we need to do. And, it's ever changing. It's, we might start down here at the start of the year, but by the end of the year, he has it set out so we're peaking at the right times, and he's super smart with it all. And John's helping me now with getting the left arm back up to strength and just getting me strong again. So so we've got that aspect covered, and then the on bikes with Ross, and then we sort of just hang out. We're like a big family. We're all best mates, and we all get along so good. So it's just like-minded individuals hanging out, and we're all in the grind, so we're all suffering together. It makes it a lot easier rather than one person suffering and then 5 got it easy. Like, we can all relate to each other really well. Is what it comes down to.
Yeah, man, it's a crazy kind of bond you can get with people when you're going through the grind in that way. I mean, I feel like that with the boys at the gym, and there's days where I'm like tonight I definitely don't feel like training, but it's like, fuck, everyone's gonna be there. The boys are going hard. There's a couple of them got comps coming up and all that, so you're like, all right, fuck, I'll get in there, and you do it for the boys kind of thing. And then you can get a crazy kind of close relationship with people in a quick like amount of time, because you know the suffering that they're going through, you know the grind that they're going through, you know how bad their body feels every time they rock up to training, and it's just, I don't know, it's really hard to relate to other people in that way if they're not kind of going through it in the same sense.
Yeah, it's like comforting almost that we're all wounded right now.
Yeah.
And it's that you've got something to talk to at the track in the morning, like, oh, I'm so sore.
Yeah.
So, but it's like when I go home, like obviously my best friends from Perth, that's who I've grown up with and whatever, but I might have 3 or 4 real close friends back home, but then I would take every one of these 10 to 15 guys here, they're my close friends, because we're just so close together, and like I said before, like-minded, and it's a really good atmosphere.
Are you doing a lot of technical stuff as well, or you kind of just doing mostly motos these days?
We sort of have our times.
Yeah.
Like some days we'll be into the more technical stuff, and if there's something that we're all really struggling with, okay, we'll all go work on that and get that better then. But yeah, we do a lot of motos. She's a grind.
Yeah.
And Ross is...
Yeah, he's a savage.
He is a savage.
He comes from a tough place. He's a tough man, and I can imagine that he's only getting tougher in his old age.
Yeah, he loves it.
Was it hard to move away from WA? Because I always wondered, so you have this crazy run, MXD, obviously then the COVID year, then you're on the 450, you're fucking killing it, Motocross of Nations, you're fucking killing it. You had a bunch of offers to go over to Europe, but you decided, I don't know if people know that or not, but you decided to stay here. What's the reasoning there, and like, is it hard? Because WA is just like its own deal. It's almost like its own country in a sense. So it's like, for you to move to the East Coast, I'm sure is like tough at times, but then even the thought of like moving overseas. So I don't know, like, is it hard to be from WA and then kind of like pack your life up because it is so different?
I think, like, yes, it is hard to answer your question, but I think it's a lot easier these days because for me, Kyle Webster and Conantini, they've like paved the way for WA guys. They come over here on their own. They went to Sydney, I believe, at the start, and they started that whole deal like of 2 WA guys just packing their life up and going all in at it. And that's been massive for me to be able to go to them and ask them, oh, what do you think about this? Or what did you do here? Things like that. And now there's 5 or 6 WA dudes on Ross's program.
That's it.
Yeah, so we're all sort of coming over because WA has some crazy riders.
Oh, dude.
Like, our tracks over there are just so different, so it just breeds mongrel dogs.
Yes.
And we go hard in WA. But the
drum and bass and fucking sand track, let's go.
Yes, pretty much. The thing WA people struggle with, I think, is just how different the tracks are here.
Yeah.
So that's why we do need to do what Connor and Kyle have done and pack up the whole life and go all in at it. Because, our tracks are sick, but they're different to here. As you've ridden there, they're quite flowy sort of sand tracks. You wouldn't have really ridden any of the hard pack tracks, but our hard pack tracks are just hard as a cat's head. Yeah. With a little bit of sprinkle on top to make it sketchy.
Yeah, just dust and pebbles.
So that's sort of where we come from. But once you come over here and really delve into this whole lifestyle and track setup and everything, we do adapt quite quickly. But it's a big move when you're young, especially. I started out, I would come to Ross for 3 weeks, or I'd come to Ross for a month, and then I'd go home, and it sort of just got longer each time, going back and forth.
You just need to get into a routine though, eh? Like, it's so hard to disrupt by going back and forth.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I mean. Like, it was really good for me, but like I've said now a couple times about the other boys, you really do just need to pack up and go all the way. You're either in or you're out. So last year, that's when I moved with the Townsend family, and they took me and my girlfriend at the time in, and that was it. That's why I did so good last year, because I was here.
You had a base.
All I had to worry about. I know that everything I need's there. I go do my thing. I've got my van. You know, that's all you need. You just need to be in the right situation.
Yeah, and like we were saying before at lunch, you know, like this is kind of when you are an athlete at the level that you are, it's like there's a certain level of selfishness that you've got to have to, you know, just maintain just because you're a high level dude, you know, like the diet's got to be high level, the sleep's got to be high level, the recovery. Like, I mean, for a lot of people, they probably don't even realize just how important recovery is, you know, in the midst of, you know, it's almost like the riding and the training is literally just 50% of the picture, because then the next half is just recovery.
Yeah, I would honestly cut it 50-50. Like it's you can make it less, you can make it 70% training and 30% recovery, but then, you know, you're messing up your training the next day.
Yeah,
you need to be selfish and just chill out after your riding as much as you want to do stuff, or other people want you to do stuff. Like, it sucks, you can't do that stuff with them, but you probably
can't be normal.
Yeah, that's it. You can't be normal. But like, why would you want to be normal when you can be a professional motocross rider and ride a dirt bike and get paid for it?
Yeah,
I'd rather miss out on a lunch date than a career in dirt bikes.
Yeah, 100%. So let's talk about the Motocross of Nations thing, and then we'll go from there. So you get picked for Motocross of Nations, full sand in the Netherlands. It was Assen, right?
Yeah, so it's on top of a MotoGP track, and it's just like a crater across the road, and they just cart dirt in. Like, crazy amounts of sand were brought in. But yeah, I think I don't know whether someone else got picked and then they couldn't make it. I think Toddy got picked.
Oh, that's right.
And then Toddy, because he's a weapon, was like, nah, you know what, I've done a few of these, like, let's give some of these younger guys a go.
That's right.
Which, thank you, Todd.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool of you. So yeah, I got to go. I got the call from Mark Luxich, and I was working at the farm with Dad. So we're cattle farmers, by the way. Didn't really go into that, but I was working at the farm with Dad, and he goes, "Hey, Regan," and I was so excited because I knew what it was. "Hey, Mark, how you going?" And he was like, "Got a question for you," and I was like, "I'm in." And he was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I'm in. I'll come." And he was like, "Oh, right. So you know what we're talking about?" I was like, "I hope so." "I hope this is what you're calling me about." And he was like, "All right, well, we need to sort some stuff out then. So send me your email and I'll send it all over to you." And I was just like, yes, going to Nations. It's like the greatest thing ever in my eyes. My whole childhood is watching Nations. Like, my dad has always taught me, this is the Olympics of motocross. This is like, this is the top. And for me, like, I'll never put any other series above Nations. That's pinnacle for me. That's the greatest honour you can receive in motocross racing, I would say, to be able to represent your country. And oh man, I hope I get to do it again. It was an incredible experience. Pretty unfortunate with the weather. Pretty much as we got there, it was good for the first day, and then it just started pissing down for the rest of the time. So it was pretty muddy, but the first qualification day was good. I went out and I got a pretty good start. It was my first ever mesh start. They were like, "Oh, the track's real heavy, we don't want to get your bike hot." So they wouldn't let me do a practice start.
Really?
And I'd never done a mesh start before, and I was like, "Fuck, okay." And I went on the line and I was just feeling the bike out a little bit, feeling how the grip was. Nearly pulled whole shot straight away against the guys that have done it for like years now, which was sick. And I was running third. I can't remember who it was in front of me. Two known names. And I was just cruising behind them. I was like, I feel pretty good. And I was hoping I was going to get into a nice flow after a few laps. And I probably ran third for 4 or 5 laps. And then I just had a bit of a mind blank and forgot where the track went a little bit. And I just went a little bit too inside off a single and just landed on a full fluffy sand pile on the inside of the track. And my bike went to a dead stop and I just front flipped over the bike. And the crowd went nuts when I crashed. I was like, oh, that's pretty sick. First time I've ever cheered for crashing. So I got up and I still finished 6th in that race. So that was really good, and that sort of opened up a few eyes for me with teams and stuff. They thought, okay, we'll keep an eye on him. Obviously, like the 16-year-old kid there on a 450.
That's so insane.
Yeah. So anyway, we go into the motos, and the first moto, by this time it's bucketing down, like proper rain, and I wish I had a GoPro on my helmet. I'm just looking up into the stands of like this MotoGP track, because obviously they've got massive grandstands, and it's just crazy rain, thousands of people, flares, smoke bombs, like one guy had a train horn winding it up, air horns everywhere. It's like the most incredible thing. Couldn't even hear myself think. It was that loud, but I was like, this is where I need to be. This is so me. Sick. This is me right here. And anyway, I got a pretty shit start, like spun a little bit. So I come through from outside the top 30, and I rode up to, I think, 13th that first race. So that wasn't too bad.
Do you know what like your lap times were compared to people?
I don't think they were really that flash, because the top guys would have a few clear laps where they'd sort of sprint away. But like as it got really rough and everything, my lap times would start getting really good towards the end. Yeah. And sort of be close to them guys. I had one moment where I passed Hurling's back.
Yeah, I remember cool. that. Yeah.
So he went past me. Where'd he go? He went past me down a straight, in a fucking straight line. So it shows how fast the bike was. And I was like, sick, Hurlings. I was like, no, I'm going to pass him back. So I rode around the outside of him, standing up. Like, cool. Get to the next corner around. So it was like to go around a inside hump. And I'd just passed the Dutch hero. Yeah. So the crowd was going insane because it was right in front of them. And obviously it was in the Netherlands. And then there's this lapper just bogged in the middle of the track. And I just skid in, just like hit the lapper. I didn't crash, but he passed me back. And I was like, you're kidding. And my other favourite pass, it was the same corner. And Calvin Vlanderen passed me. Yeah. So he's Dutch as well. Yeah. So the home crowd, I passed him, I made it stick, I made him look stupid. And they went stupid at me. It was so good. And that was probably one of the coolest parts of it. But anyway, we went to the second moto, and the same sort of deal. I slid off the start and didn't get the greatest start. Come from again, like 28th or something like that. And then I rode up to about 12th, and I was trucking. I was like sick. There's Paul in front of me. I'm catching him 3 or 4 seconds a lap, like them sort of level guys, proper heavy hitters. And I was like, I'm riding up to nearly top 5 here, because we still had 15 minutes or 20 minutes left of the moto, and I was just feeling myself in that moto. I was so happy, like didn't even care about on the mud, couldn't even see. And it was my first ever time riding with moose tyres as well, and I didn't like them. So there was a few things I would have changed. But anyway, I was catching them dudes like 3 or 4 seconds a lap, which was sick. And I just had people cheering me, like they had no idea who I was. But like, who is this fluoro looking kid coming through the pack? And then my bike stopped. Just couldn't handle it. Just cooked it. It was a stock 450 with a pipe.
You did a Tomac, just used a 450.
Yeah, I did it on a stock bike, so it's a bit more acceptable.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I remember just throwing my hands up in the air like, you're kidding me. I just wanted to finish this weekend. But yeah, I pushed my bike off the track, and I reckon I was shitty about it for about 5 steps. And then I looked up, and people were like, yeah, Duffy, like yelling at me. And I was like, sick. Walked the next kilometre to the pits, wouldn't let anyone take my bike. I was just so happy, just pushing my bike. Like, this is the best day of my life. And I was stoked. I was so stoked. Did not care that bike had blown up. I was just like, that was amazing. These people are that cool. I never want to leave this place. All them thoughts going through my head. But yeah, I was happy pushing a blown up bike through the pits.
That's so sick, man. Yeah, I mean, crazy experience. Like, there's not that many 16-year-old kids that have raced a 450 at Motocross of Nations.
No.
Like, I don't even know if there's anyone that's 16
that would be. Europeans are next level,
mate. But in the 450 class,
who knows?
But I mean, either way, like, it's super impressive.
Yeah.
What was it like being around Hurlings for that moto? Like, did he check out from you pretty quick, or?
Well, yeah, when I hit that guy.
Oh, yeah. So you lost him.
I lost touch with him pretty quickly.
Yeah,
The
but
gone.
what did you think about his speed and his level? Like, because it's always, like, you're stuck in Australia. Like, you're racing in Australia. There's a certain speed level, right? And I mean, I've watched so many people like Billy McKenzie. Remember when Billy McKenzie came over? At the time was like one of the fastest speed-wise in the GPs. Come to Australia, smoked everyone for a few rounds, and then slowly it's like he comes back to the level because you're just not seeing that speed. I mean, even Ando on the podcast was saying like he wouldn't ride with Marvin because it would show him the speed.
I heard that, yeah.
So it's like, could you see a different level of speed and be like, oh, fuck, I could actually do that?
Yeah, nothing that anyone was doing there was anything that I thought I couldn't do.
Really?
And honestly, it was the comfort level that I seen a difference with. Hurlings and everything. They were so comfy on their bike. Obviously, they ride the thing all year. They're so familiar with that surroundings. I was like a late sort of thing because Todd or someone pulled out and I was riding with Ferris's suspension, which was dog shit.
Yeah, he runs a whack suspension setup.
I don't know what it was. I just hated it at the time.
Yeah, he just runs a very different setup to other people.
Yeah, so I had that. I'd never ridden with Moose tubes before, so I felt like my tyre was rolling off the rim. And then bike was stock with a pipe. Like nothing was set up how I would have liked it. But yeah, I felt like if I was comfy, like I'm good in the mud. I knew I could have rode a lot better there. Like I was a top 10 guy, easy. But yeah, it was just a bit rushed, and that's fine. It's all right. I'll be back.
16, 450, 16, you got plenty of time.
Yeah, I'll be sweet.
So there were teams that were sort of coming knocking after that. So what was the conversations that started happening? Like I had fucking team managers in America calling me about you, and like it was gnarly. Yeah. So like what was the fallout from it, I guess?
Well, there was like sort of chatter a little bit. Like a few people would say to me, oh, this guy wants to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of it didn't actually happen until maybe after, like they'd send an email or something. But for the day, the owner of the HRC team, he sent someone to come get me, and I was like getting ungeared and stuff. And this guy comes over and he's like, hey, Garibaldi, he wants to talk to you in the HRC truck. And I was like, fuck, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So is this actually happening? And then anyway, I got a bit cleaned up and I walked over there and met with the he's gonna kill me if he hears this, if I don't mind, like the English guy who works with Garibaldi in the HRC team.
Yeah, I'm not
it's
sure.
Wayne something, I think. Anyway, he's there, and Giacomo, the owner of the team, is there, and they're just sitting at this table. So like the HRC truck, for anyone who doesn't know, is the sickest truck. It's like it's like a full restaurant in one part of it. So there's like actual restaurant tables, and they're just sitting at a restaurant table, and then they're, hey Regan, come take a seat. Anyway, shake their hands and whatever, talk to them. We've seen you did really well today. We've seen a lot of potential and whatnot. What's your plans for next year? All that sort of general talk, and then so we just sort of talked about that stuff, and I had pretty much had the opportunity to go ride for 114.
Which is the satellite Honda one, right?
Yeah,
Olivia
so
Lancelot,
so it's under those guys, like they still run it, but it's sort of just Olivia's name, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I could have done that, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I just didn't think I was ready just yet. So that's why I went against it. But I still keep in contact with those guys now. Like, they're really cool. They still speak to me, so that's super nice of those. And then, so from there, everyone in Europe sort of just kept a bit of an eye on me, what I was doing. I had a couple other teams there, but nothing really crazy. And then F&H Kawasaki was really close. So basically, 2 weeks after my accident, I was meant to fly to Europe.
Really?
So I was like 1 or 2 days away from signing the contract with F&H to go ride on Jed's team.
Yeah, right.
In the 250 spot.
Yeah.
So that's how close that got. But as we all know, I had my accident, so I didn't get to go. But yeah, so for everyone telling me, get out of Australia, I was going to.
Yeah, okay. So what did you feel that you weren't ready? Like, what were the factors in that decision?
I think just experience at that level, which I know you have to go there to get that experience at that level, but I wasn't anywhere near that. I was still an under-19s racer. I felt I'd watched people from Australia make the mistake before me and go too early, and then that's all she wrote. So, yeah, my dad really didn't want me to go that early, which unfortunately he didn't, because I don't think I was ready. Now that I look back at it, at the time I would have told you, yeah, I'm ready, like, let's go. But even for just the living side of things and all that, money, like, I had no perception of money or anything like that. I was still just a kid. Yeah. I'm still a kid now, but I know a little bit more. But yeah, I think I just needed that year in Australia. And then obviously 2020 we didn't even get to race, so that was a bummer. And I don't think they got to race a whole lot over there either, so it wasn't too bad. Yeah. And then 21 I did my first year here in the 450s and I did really well. And that's when I thought, all right, it's time. And that's when I was going to go. That's when I had the crash. Yeah. So that's where we're at now. We're just at a rebuilding point of my career and just, trying to come back up and work on anything I need to work on and try to get back to where I was, if not better. Yeah. I need to be better. Yeah. I'm going to try to be better than I was. So,
well, we were saying before, like, when you have that time off, you have that time away, you get a chance to just, like, analyze everything. And, you kind of, a lot of times, kind of, if you can physically get back, then mentally, you can be so much better, and you've got all this time to analyze and break down everything that you've ever done. Because there's not that many opportunities when you get into your career, and it's just year after year after year after year, that you kind of get to step back and, like, look at the whole picture.
Yeah, that's it. We were speaking about it just before we started the podcast, is a lot of the time, and other riders would be able to, recognize this as well, when you do have an injury, you are able to step back and you can think about every little thing you do. You study it and analyze it, and I could be better here, I could be better there, or I am already good there. And a lot of that stuff, because motocross is so mental, and that gets overlooked massively. Motocross is a mental sport as much as it is physical. So when you come back and you're set in your mind and you know exactly what you got to do, it makes it a lot easier to go fast. And that's why a lot of people do go better after an injury.
What do you think makes motocross more mental?
It's like doing the most physically demanding thing that you can do in the world, but trying to stay completely placid and clear in your mind, going at 80 to 100 k's an hour and being able to put your wheel in a 4-inch wide spot at that speed, lap after lap for the whole duration of the moto. You get drained when you do these motos. Like, your body gets tired, your mind starts to get tired, you get sloppy, your technique goes out the window, but you got to be able to just readjust and just do not listen to your body through that thing. Body's fine, just keep hitting your marks. So it's just super tough like that, and I don't think anyone really looks at it in that perspective at all. Like, you're hitting such precise marks every lap. And the thing is, with motocross, the track's changing every single lap. You can hit one line that's absolutely perfect and you're like, okay, next lap, I'm going to hit that cranked. Yeah. You get to the next lap, it's gone. That line has disappeared. It's dirt. It does not stay the same. It's not a tarmac sport like F1 or MotoGP. Like, I know it changes with their tyres and stuff, but the actual track itself doesn't change. Whereas motocross, bumps build, ruts build, all these different things. So the reaction time for a motocross rider actually has to be super fast to see these new things coming at them and to be able to know exactly what to do in that situation.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So after, like, I started riding a bunch before Manji last year, and then when I got home, I was getting fitter. Like I wish I had like 2 more months for Manji, because like a few months after Manji, I was riding really good and I got a lot fitter, and I started doing 30s. And I've never done a 30 before in my entire life. And I just, as an average rider, it's just like, you never really think to do like a 30-minute moto, you know. But I got like the MyLap Pro thing on my handlebars, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to start busting out some 30s. I couldn't believe how mentally fucked I was. Oh. Like physically, I got through them okay. Like I got tired, but it was just my brain. I was just like zapped, dude. And then I'd come in and, bro, I'm riding at fucking QMP. Like, it's not like it was gnarly rough and the speeds aren't crazy. But that was one thing that I took away as a guy that I've been around the sport my whole life, but I've just to never do like a gnarly 30. And I think I did like a 30 and then a 25. And yeah, mentally fried.
Yeah, and like you say, QMP is not a track that's super rough or gnarly, but
not at all.
It doesn't matter. You still, sometimes how repetitive it is can get to you as much as if it is super tough and, you know, rough track. Sometimes you just get lazy and you just go, oh, it's gonna be the same thing. You don't really notice it, but that's when you can make mistakes, when it is too easy. Yeah,
like boring almost.
Yeah, boring. So you've always got to be switched on in motocross. That's why I think it is just as mental as it is physical.
And so how do you train the mental side of it? Is it just over and over, just like repetition? You just figure out how to get through it?
Yeah, I think it's reps, but the mental side of things is definitely helped with the physical side being good. Like if you're strong and you're training good and whatever, like I get to the end of a 30 sometimes and I'm like, is that all?
Really?
Yeah, 100%. I did a 48-minute moto at 110% one time at home, and I was like, damn it, I ran out of fuel. I wanted to keep going. But you just get to that point where you're so strong, you love it. You just want to keep going. And the mental loves it as well.
Yeah.
It's what you're meant to be doing. This is what you were made for. So it just becomes easy.
Dude, that's pretty sick that you physically got into that kind of shape, because it's sort of a shame in motocross, I think, because physically, I don't think that you hit your prime until you're in your 30s. Like, for me, my body's changed so much from like 25 to 33. Just, it got so much, not that I'm a big dude now, but I was like Ronan, you know, like just skinny, no matter what you did, you couldn't put on weight. Sorry, Ronan. So sorry, bro. It just is what it is. You're in weed. But I was like exactly the same, you know. And I could do weights and shit, and it just didn't really matter. And then I got to like, I don't know, 28, 29. I started doing jiu-jitsu and just like, I haven't done any weights, and my whole body just got thicker. All of it, Regan.
Really?
Longer, thicker. But in motocross, a lot of riders don't actually make it into their like physical prime, you know, because they kind of retire in like mid 20s before you really start to get that. And you see it a lot in like UFC fighters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of UFC fighters don't even take their 20s that seriously unless you're like a freak like John Jones or whatever, you know. But like you see like McGregor now, like how much fucking bigger.
He's beefy.
Yeah, bro. It's because he's like getting into his 30s.
Yeah, wow.
So it's like for you to get into that sort of shape as a young dude, it's like it's only gonna get better and better.
Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, like you said, motocross is you retire real early in motocross because it is such a brutal sport. So if you can be someone that's smart and stay injury free, what was Caroli, 38 or 36?
Was he that old? How old's Caroli? Look it up, mate.
And Chad Reed was like 36. He had to have been, you know, mid to late 30s as well.
Well, you look at like Tim Ferry, how fit he was at the end of his career. He was in his 30s. Mike LaRocco. Like you just get these old boys that can just like, they're so used to. Yeah, Mike Brown. They had John Dowd. You know, you get like the older guys, they would just straight diesels, you know, like they just could run down.
Travis was like 22.
Yeah. Who was I thinking of? fuck, I just had something I was going to say and completely fucking forgot about it.
That's all right.
I'll think of it later. How old's Crowley?
36.
36, old boy.
Mm.
Yeah, there must just be like a real muscle memory too that happens to where like you're just so in the grind with it.
Yeah, and that's where I touched on earlier with the saying that the good technique is going to be like the new wave of the future.
Yeah.
Crowley, picture perfect, 36 years old, run with the best in the world. That's where it is.
Yeah. How much are you thinking about technique a lot when you ride these days?
Yeah, even more so now, I think, that I've just started coming back.
Yeah.
Because I said to you in the car, like I was struggling with even my looking ahead.
Yeah.
I was going back to that bad habit of looking down at the front mudguard, and although I'm not going super fast, I'm just trying to remind myself and get back in the rituals of good technique over and over, the reps, just getting that thing back. So I'm probably thinking about it more so now because it was so natural to me, like the point I got to before my injury.
Well, so what are like the things, so you said before, like stay on your toes and then unlock the hips, like do you have any other just like general checkpoints that you're sort of trying to think of when you're riding?
Like knees back.
Yeah.
So for example, when you're braking, when people brake and they bring their knees forward, that's just putting extra weight towards the front wheel, and that's when they're getting head shake and the back's kicking around. Whereas if you're braking with your body right over the back and the knees back as well, it's just extra weight behind the pegs, and that's ultimately what you're trying to do, is sort of get the weight behind the pegs, because I feel the shock is a lot more predictable than the forks. Because the shock is just up and down, up and down. The forks, they've got the turning aspect as well.
Yeah.
So,
never thought of that.
As much as they go up and down like the shock does, there's the turning.
Yeah.
So they're a lot harder to predict than the shock. So I guess, like, I've never even looked at it that way until I just said that.
Dude,
It's
it makes so much sense.
just come out my mouth. But yeah, I think that's probably why we do it and why it works.
Yeah.
But I've always been a very correct rider, just index fingers on clutch and front brake, things like that. So you've got full grip on your bars. Rather, you see some people like, but Hurlings uses just his middle fingers.
Yeah.
So
Carmichael used to do that.
yeah, it just depends what you get used to. But I think the correct way would probably be the index fingers, and then elbows up, things like that, just to have that strong sort of form with your braking. And yeah, there's lots of different things that can make a massive difference, but they're only small things when you think about it.
Yeah. Do you guys do much filming of riding?
No, we don't actually.
Yeah. See, I think that's like, for me with all my shit, like that was actually one of the best things about Bali, man. My gym here, no one really like films their rolls and shit. Like you sort of just like do your thing and then you leave. But over there, everyone just films. So I was just like, oh fuck, I'm just going to film all my shit. And I've got so much footage of me training, and I was like, I could see so much shit. Like I'm a lot more high level at that than I am at motocross, so it's like a different kind of deal. But that, I'm like, wow, I didn't know that I did that. I've never seen myself do that. That was crazy. I never knew that I did that sort of stuff. And then you make mistakes and you're like, oh man, I definitely would have been easy for me if I just did this. So, but no one really does that in motocross. And I know that for me, like if I had someone film me come through like a turn or whatever, I'm like, oh, my head's like back and up high. Like the next time it's like instant changes, because there's an old saying in golf that feel isn't real. So what you feel like you're doing is not what you're actually doing a lot of the times.
That is me in golf. Jesus Christ. I'm like, hole in one, 4.
But yeah, like the filming aspect of it just doesn't seem like that many people film in moto.
Nah, but pretty sure Stuart's mum filmed every lap of every practice session he ever did.
Yeah, I think that's probably like something that people will start should start doing it.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you look at like the NFL and shit, man, they literally have dedicated film crews.
Yeah.
All that film, like drones of all their, like even the NRL started doing that actually. Like drone footage of the like top down stuff, so they can watch every play. They're analysing every race on film. Like, there's for all your races, like realistically, if you should have someone that's just filming you with like a long ass zoom fucking handy cam the entire time. So it's like you can just see everything that you did, and then if you had that, you could like, you know, look against your lap times, and you know, there'd be so, I feel like there's just so many ways that you could kind of get better at riding that you know, people just don't even really do.
I feel like it almost comes down to a money aspect in Australia though. Probably overseas as well, but for me, like I can't afford to. Yeah,
you'd have to pay someone.
I can't afford to pay a filmer to come film every one of my practice sessions. I can't afford to buy him a camera. Like, if we were a bigger sport like we should be, then maybe we would be able to do that. But that's something that in the future I would say it's going to be something that comes in. Like teams will eventually provide a filmer for their riders, things like that. That could be the way of the future for all we know. So yeah, it could be something to look into for sure.
So what about, I guess, like the scene in WA right now? Because I mean, fuck dude, we went over there last year for Manji. That was one of the coolest weeks of my life, by the way. And it's crazy, man. Like I was sick, I had a massive one in the first moto, I was hungover, and like driving out of there, staring at 4 days to get back to the Gold Coast, I was like, fuck, I can't wait for next year. Which I did not think that would be the case.
Yeah.
But man, like we had 130 riders show up to our ride day at Bunburry. Everywhere we went, there was bikes on the back of cars and utes, and like the place just seems like it's pumping with moto. Is that a kind of fairly accurate statement? The WA moto's like pretty much killing it at the moment.
Yeah, the scene's strong over there. We all just love it. Like no one, I think the best thing about WA is probably the thing that it isn't as professional as the East Coast, because there's so much more fun involved with it. Whereas over here, there's so many dudes that are like, oh, I'm professional, like I can't do that. I've got to be so serious at this practice day. Whereas back home, we're like, wow, this is sick. Like, let's get a palmy after this.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fun in WA, and the tracks are good. I said to Ronan in the car when he picked me up from the airport, like, you need to do a Gypsy Tales winter tour. Like, you would be blown away with the tracks we have over there. I've got like 100,000 acres across the road of bush, so I ride out my front gate. Just go wherever I want. Like, I could ride to Darwin if I wanted to.
That's so insane.
Yeah, so there's stuff everywhere, and in winter WA comes alive. Like,
why is that? Just the
dirt. It's so dry. It's so dry there in summer, and especially where I am, like north of Perth, it's quite sandy. So that's where the winter's really good there. But yeah, we head out into the dunes, like next to the beach, and people build pallet jumps and stuff, and we just get turned off them things. And then you go down south in winter and it's just loamy clay, and it's unreal. And everyone in WA is like stoked to have people come ride with them. Whereas over here, it's like secret squirrels.
Yeah, true.
We love it in WA. It's like the bigger the crew, the better. Like, just it's going to be a sick time if people all come. So that's what I love about WA, is like the camaraderie between everyone. There's not too many people there that want to do their own thing or you know, hate on anyone else. We all sort of just respect each other. So that's why I love it there. And
what is it that, because you're pretty much like the Hurlings of Australia, really.
Fucking
no, but seriously, like, I'll claim it for you. Well, think about it in this term. Not even that you're good. You that grew up in the sand. No one can touch you in the sand. And then you've had to come over and learn like the hard pack stuff, and then you've ended up figuring that shit out, and you're one of the best dudes now. So it's like, what do you think that it is? I just said that just for the YouTube thumbnail, by the way. But what do you think it is about growing up? Because there's a history of guys that grew up in WA that would become, you know, like Leesky is
I spoke to Jeff about this very situation.
So what do you think?
Riders that come from a sand background get better at hardpack a lot quicker than a hardpack rider background getting better at sand.
I agree 100%. I squarely fit in that category.
Yeah. So when you come from a sand background, you really have to be technically savvy on the bike. The bike is always moving underneath you. The track is changing 100% more than hardpack tracks do. Everything about the sand sort of background is just tougher, gnarlier, harder. So when we come over here, and we can hit the same rut that doesn't move for like 20 times once we figure it out, that is, because we suck ass at the start.
Yeah.
But once we figure that out, like, oh, this is easy. This is just, it's the same thing every time. I'll just keep doing the same thing.
And then the bikes doesn't feel as heavy, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I just feel with sand, it's so ever changing and it's just so taxing on your body. It's just easier to transition to hardpack than if you were to grow up on hardpack and then try go ride sand. You'd be like, what is this stuff?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a really good spot to come from, especially for someone that might want to go overseas, and Europe's got so much sand, so it's really good for that.
Yeah, I guess, have you been to Europe to ride other than Nations?
No, unfortunately not.
Fuck, you should almost just go.
Yeah, I'd love to do a trip.
Like once you're back to like 100% strength wise, just go and just get a fucking 450 and just go hang out at Lommel and just ride like all the track days. Like you'd become like the local hero in a fucking week.
I'd probably get smoked by 125 around there.
Yeah, maybe. Dude, you hear some crazy stories about that joint.
Yeah, real wild stories. Like Kiter Wolf beating Colden and stuff on a 125, I heard one time.
Oh yeah, I bet.
It's like, how does that even happen?
But it puts you in good stead to go over and do that shit, you know, because like you wouldn't have to. I just don't know like that it'd be that crazy of an adjustment for you on the sand, because that's where they're doing so much testing.
Yeah.
Like the winter grind happens on those sand tracks. Like you'd have such a massive head start over like the average Aussie that doesn't come from WA.
Well, yeah, you hear a lot of people that have gone over there and it's been like a really hard transition to ride their sand. And as much as I've heard that their sand is different in
WA
Europe,
is gnarly, bro.
like WA in winter is as heavy as it gets. So I do know it's going to be different. It gets ruddy over there, which it doesn't really in WA. But if you can ride sand, you can ride sand. Like I feel it's the same sort of style no matter what. If there's a couple ruts and stuff thrown in there, yeah, I feel like you would be able to figure it out a lot quicker than, like you said, the average sort of person coming through.
Yeah, there was a lot of ruts at Manji last year. Was that normal?
Yeah, Manji was pretty shit last year.
Yeah, the track
Normally
was.
it's like even sandier. They brought in a heap of clay.
Really?
Like for your first time you wouldn't have known, but
No, I didn't know any different.
normally it's much sandier than that. Normally the only hard pack bit is when you go the first tabletop up Rock and Roll Hill.
Yeah.
And then you go all the way
That
up,
big
down, bowl turn, up the hill,
Yeah.
and then that drop off down to where it turns sand.
Yeah.
That's where it strictly stays hard pack. But there was a few other spots, like second last turn was hard. Normally that's all whooped out. So I don't really know what they're doing there. Hopefully they stop doing that. 'Cause I love it when it's sandy.
You like it more when it's sandy.
Yeah.
But even that section where you had like that weird kind of step up and then you got the left and then you go left again and then the tabletop, like it was just
Yeah, that tabletop.
It was rutted, dude. That's like one of the coolest photos. That is the coolest photo I've got of me riding. It's like just straight line. Like there's all those ruts there.
No, every year that is rut the whole way across. So
That was pretty sick.
yeah, it's pretty gnarly when you're going up to it.
Oh, dude, yeah, especially as fast as I was going.
Warp speed.
Oh, yeah, just fucking sending it. I'm so pumped to go back there, eh?
Yeah,
like, that was
it'd be
honestly... I wish more people would go from the East Coast.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of like our goal with that whole trip, was to try and inspire people to do it. I mean, it's a fucking big drive.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you guys are used to doing it, to come over here.
Yeah, that's it. But I don't know. I'd love to see a bunch of people over here get together and, you know, all pay for a 40-foot sea container. Just put your bikes in it, get it over there and...
Bike, Quickshade, Toolbox, Gatorade, bang.
Fly in, hire a few vans. And like I said, WA helps out. Like if you need stuff done, WA people, they'll chuck a bike in. They'll bring you toolboxes. It's no stress. If we could get East Coast people to WA people would be frothing. We'd do whatever we could to help out. So, yeah, if anyone wants to come to Mandurah, let us know.
Yeah, dude. And that was the vibe that I got there, man. Like, everyone was so sick. Like, I mean, I had, like, people come and help with my bike, and we always had people rolling through our pits. Like, everyone was just so rad that entire trip.
Yeah. I feel, I don't know, I've never been to America, but do they say, like, that Washougal sort of area. Is it, what would you call that? I have no idea where that is in
like
America.
the Pacific Northwest, they call
Yeah,
it.
are they like pretty laid back people? Like they just sort of send it.
Everyone in America is kind of like that.
Oh, really?
California is kind of different.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I mean, like pretty much everywhere outside of that, America's got some of the nicest people.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
like
right.
when it comes to, you ever heard of like Southern hospitality?
Yeah.
When people say that, that's
Yep.
definitely a real thing.
Really?
Like when you get through like Alabama, Louisiana, Atlanta, Florida,
Super
or
nice.
like Georgia. Yeah, everyone just Southern hospitality. Like they're just so cool. Like Oklahoma, even though that's not Southern, but I mean, yeah,
Just
a
nice.
lot of people there, especially if you're an Australian man. Like people are just so fucking pumped.
I'd love to go there. One of my good mates back home, Joe, we've been talking about, we need to go to America this year. Just go there for 3 weeks and just ride all the tracks there.
You should, dude.
Yeah, I've never been. I'd love to.
You should 100%. Like once you get to a level where like you're just riding, because I think, is that the like, well, I guess what's the plan then for this year to build back up? Like are you going to try and enjoy a year, like obviously put in the work, but like enjoy kind
Yeah, I
of
think so.
motorcycling? Because I mean, yeah, I guess there's a couple ways you go about it. Like I guess it just depends on your body, but do you just go straight back into the grind and try and get back to where you were, or do you try and take it a little bit slow, get your body back and just enjoy riding while you're getting your body back? Or
Yeah, I'm sort of just listening to my body at the moment. If I could, I'd get straight back into it and I would have raced Wonthaggi last weekend, but I can't. So yeah, I'm just gonna, as much as I'm gonna work hard this year and get back the best I can, I want to really enjoy my riding and I want to do different things. I love trail riding, I love free riding, I love doing whips, I love messing around, like, just doing stoppies and wheelies and stuff like that. Love pit bikes. So I think this year I'm really going to focus on just having fun on my dirt bike as much as I'm going to train hard and try and get back as quick as I can.
yeah. And have you started talking with like teams and shit? Like, I guess you probably can't even talk about it, but like that whole thing's in the works of like where you're going to be next year and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, there's teams that are sort of talking to me, but can't really say anything.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Stupid question.
Nah, it's fine.
You always forget, eh?
Could get lucky and I'd slip up and say something.
I just always forget that there's actually shit that you can't talk about.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I think America would be cool if you get over there. do
I
some
think it'd be
riding.
sick. And like I said, I love doing whips and I love big jumps. So
Dude, you know what you should go and do?
what's that?
Day in the dirt.
That'd be fun.
It's like September, October, the end of the year.
Yeah.
Get a KTM. Langston will give you one. And just go over there and just fucking send it for the weekend. Like
Yeah.
it is the funnest weekend, man.
Yeah.
And you'll be on a sick track. The industry will be there. Like Toby went over and won it one year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it
Sick.
was like good for his career too.
Yeah,
like it
right.
was a lot of people in the US. Like he made some relationships that he's still like super tight with
Oh,
now.
cool.
So I mean that might be a good thing. I wish guys would just do more different shit. Like
Yeah.
especially in Australia. Like no offense to anyone in Australia, but Australia's fucking not that great right now when it comes to motocross. Like they're trying to do the best. They're building up the series, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm just sort of making the point that you can't just be here and expect that like you're gonna make a long career. You're gonna like this. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But what you can do is, you can go to Europe and do something cool over there. You can go to America and do an event there. Like there's stuff that you can go and do. It's a fuck around. You don't have your factory bike, and you don't have this, and you don't have that. But we do it. We just travel. We go ride. We have fun. You make videos about it. Like I feel like there's a lot of cool shit that you can do on a motocross bike that can work around the Aussie schedule, and you can sort of help like elevate your career in that sense.
I just feel people that are at that level that they could possibly go to Europe or could possibly go to America, Australia is always going to be here. Just go and have a go. What's the worst that can happen? You come back here, you do your thing. I think we probably need to start venturing out a little more. Like you say, in the off season, just go do 1 or 2 races, or in the mid-season break, 1 or 2 races. It probably would be a good thing for us and probably for Australia as a whole to have them to start looking towards Australia a little bit for possible riders or anything like that. But at the same time, it is hard. So, but we can make it work.
Yeah, like I definitely get it, but like, you know, Day in the Dirt, an event like that, it's in, you know, the end of the year, the racing's done. I mean, it's not that expensive to get over there. Like, you use your contacts, get a bike, and yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it just doesn't seem like enough to just race in Australia at the moment. You know, it just doesn't seem like there's enough kind of going on with the series yet.
Yeah, it's just in a building process.
Yeah, it is in like a building process though. That being said though, man, like the level that like you and Cloudy were riding at Manji last year was pretty fucking gnarly. Like that was two dudes going really fast.
Yeah, we were sort of checked out from the other guys, so I think we were definitely at a high level there. I feel like the way we were last year, Clout and I could have definitely done well overseas. Just, you know, we're both in really good form, both had really good speed, and yeah, we both just didn't want to lose to each other. So we would just kept elevating each other one after another. So that was pretty sick. And to clear it up for anyone, because let's say everyone, because no one really knows, everyone thinks me and Luke don't like each other because the TV made up this bullshit story. Like,
who did?
The TV.
Oh, right.
Me and Luke were sitting on the back of the tailgate of the KTM truck, and they're going, you need to say this and you need to say this, and we just looked at each other and started laughing. We're like, I'm not saying that. So anyway, we had to say it, and we're like saying, yeah, I'm gonna beat Luke Clout and I'm gonna be the champion. We're like, this is the stupidest shit. But me and Luke are friends. Like, I went and chat to him for like half an hour after one taggy. Yeah, just sat on the grass with him and talked shit. Like, he's a cool guy. I think Luke's just got a very he's got a resting bitch face. He's a bulldog looking character. Yeah, he's just a gnarly dude. He just wants to win. That's why he's the champ. He's a bad motherfucker. So that's that setup. But I just wanted to clear that up because that's one thing I get so many people ask me like, oh, that Clout guy, like, he's a dick, hey? I'm like, no. He's fine. No, like, he is a dick when it comes to like racing, and you're on the to an extent. He's a dick in the way that he has to be. Exactly, but I think he probably just takes it a little bit more serious than I do, whereas I'm like broing down with everyone, like got time for everyone. Luke's very straight down the line with his sort of riding and stuff, which obviously some people might get rubbed off the wrong way, but that's his deal and he's making it work, so good on him. No, he's just a kid that just wants it bad, man. He's always been like that too. He's just always been that kid that's just like that gnarly little motherfucker. Like, he's always had a lot of confidence in himself. He's always had a lot of people around him that like telling him that's, you know, that he should have that level of confidence, and he's been over the States. Is it a New South Wales thing? Don't know. Yeah, fuck, we can't stand them. I feel like it's a New South Wales thing. Those guys are just gritty. Who are you putting in that category? Like Mosses. Yeah, that sort of style thing. They're just like that bulldog character. Marmonts. Yeah, Marmonts. Exactly the same when you think about it. Jay and Ryan are so different though. Oh, I know. I haven't had a whole lot to do with Jay. Like, he's alright, but Ryan is a mad dog. Yeah. Shout out to Ryan. He helped me and my dad out before under 19, so 2017. Oh no, 2018. I was doing the Rookie Cup. Yeah. So they had this 250 support class. Never met Ryan before, and he just went off someone else's good word, and we roll up to his workshop, and he's like, I gotta go. We've got shit on. Hands us the keys to his workshop, like thousands of dollars worth of bikes in there, like irreplaceable memorabilia, like championship trophies. Yeah. It was crazy. He just hands us the keys, and I was like, why are you that nice? Anyway, Ryan Marmont is a good guy. Yeah, he's a legend. He's big cool. Time. I like spent a bunch of time with him, obviously through like the JDR days, and man, he was so impressive. Like, it's actually underrated. When he went to America, dude, he was hole shotting like heat races and main events. It's good starter. Yeah, I think the best he got was 7th. In a 250 main event. I think it was the night that Kennard broke his back when he got landed on by Ryan Morris. I'm pretty sure it was that night. Shit. But yeah, like
Dude, he went over there. He was a gritty little fucker, man.
Yeah.
Like, he just made shit happen.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get enough credit for, like, the career that he had.
Let's be honest, though. I think a few people, Australians, don't get that credit because Reedy just overshadowed everything. He just went there and was like beast mode, like Brett Metcalf, incredible rider.
Dude, and he's still riding now.
Yeah, I know. He was that good. If Reed wasn't there, he would be like...
Yeah, he was
Australia's
like the next
like,
best Aussie, yeah.
Yeah. And no, people don't even know Jeff Leask because Chad is just, he's taken over, which good on him. He deserves it, but people don't really know the whole backstory of things because Chad really overshadowed the whole deal. But yeah, we've had some unbelievable riders.
We need to get that level back too, but I wonder how we're going to go with that. I mean...
Which level?
Well,
Reed?
Well, we just had you had Burner, Meddy, McFarlane, then you had Chad, then you had the Marmonts, then from then on...
Mosses.
Kind of, but just no one really made it work since then, And it's like, you look at it though, that timing was probably when our guys weren't really able to cut it over there anymore. That was probably the time that the Australian series started going downhill quite a lot.
Yeah.
And then the Baker's Factory and the Club MX and the MT, all of the facilities really started to take over.
Yeah.
So it's like we almost went backwards while America really went forwards.
Yeah, so we had a massive gap for that.
Massive gap, man. And then no Supercross series in Australia, so... We've always, talent-wise, in terms of the riders themselves, we've got crazy ability here, but it's almost like the infrastructure and our series, and that is sort of what kind of stopped that progression of the Australian riders going,
I think we're in a pretty good spot right now. We've got Mitch and Jed that are unbelievable in Europe, and we've got a Jet and a Hunter in America.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're back.
We won't forget that. Jeez, so them.
But I mean,
it.
But they had to leave. At 8. What was Jet 10, Hunter 13. So it's they had to get out of Dodge to go live in Europe and just do this slog for years and years to kind of make it work. There's just not in 08, 07, 08, it used to be if you won the championship in Australia, you pretty much got a ride in America. For a few years. That's kind of what it was like. Ferris went over there, the Mosses went over there, Ty Simmons. So it's that there was a bit of a program that was running, but now it's just kind of done, unless you go over there Jed. When did Jed go over? When he was 18 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Unless you do that.
He did the EMX. So, yeah. I was on a Divi 1 in 2008.
A Divi 1.
Don't look at him. He's young as well. You just think that's normal.
All the fucking kids.
You want a backstory on Jet? That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
In 2014, I raced Jet at the Aussie titles.
Oh, at Wanneroo?
No. 14 was Appin in New South Wales. And I won the 85 class, my class, and then I raced him in the 65s. Or maybe I raced him in the 85s. Anyway, I raced him in one of them. And the first race, so for some reason, they swapped the days. So normally they would run through all the classes, throughout the week. But they put the first 3 days, 85 small wheels and down, and they ran the whole thing through. So our track got no lines. It was just one rut the whole way around. So the first moto, I hole shotted. I won by 18 seconds. Second moto, Jet hole shots. I finish he beat me by half a wheel. Second moto, same deal again. Could not pass him on this one line track. He beat me by half a wheel. And I was devastated. Anyway, I'm walking up the canteen to get some snakes or some shit. I don't know. He goes, "Oi!" And I look over. I was like, "Yeah, what? Want an autograph?" And I was like, fuck you.
Oh, that's so fucking funny, dude.
Ever since then, I've been like, one day, mate, one day.
I'll
but
get you
so
back.
much respect for him.
Oh.
He's bloody killing it at the moment. He's doing really well.
It's pretty insane, like the level that those boys are operating on right now, eh?
Really good.
And just like full repping the Aussie flag hard too. Like that's one thing. That's one thing I love. They've felt like zero pressure to drop the Aussie thing.
Yeah,
like I think like Chad and Burner and that they kind of felt a little bit of pressure to sort of like drop the Aussie thing over there.
Yeah, they're just proud, these boys, and that's really good. I reckon that's what we need. We need to be proud Aussies. So we're a badass country. We should be proud of it.
And Americans fucking love Australians too. You know,
Seems
so
that
it's
way.
like, yeah, man. Oh, dude, that's crazy when you're over there. Like, you know, I was saying, yeah, you go all over the country. Yeah, they're so nice, especially if you're Australian. They just like want to hear about it. Oh, you guys got kangaroo. Like, they're just as cliche as it gets, but they just love Australia.
Unfortunately, yes, we do.
Yeah, we got heaps of the fucking things.
Fucking kangaroos.
But yeah, you'd have heaps in WA too. Or what?
So many.
Oh, people don't actually understand how many there are.
No, they're pests. We have like fucking 200 in my backyard.
So you farming cattle or what?
Yeah, so that's a backstory. I'm like a third generation cattle farmer, and then before that the family was dairy farmers. So yeah, and then I've sort of just broke the chain a little bit and steered away from it, much to Granddad's disgust. But no, he passed when I was way younger.
Yeah.
But he would always be like, "You sure you want to go to the racing today? Like, you sure you don't want to come out to the farm?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm going racing." So Dad still farms now, and like I help him as much as I can when I'm home, as much as he has to work to get me out there, because I'm fucking sick of it. But just want to ride my dirt bike. But yeah, we do that, and that's sort of cattle farming is the reason that I've been able to race motocross up until, you know, the point where I got supported and sponsored.
Yeah.
So can't hate on it too much. It's the only reason I'm where I am today.
So what sort of jobs what's the Regan jobs on the farm?
Oh, rounding up the cattle from the back paddocks and bringing them all in. So I'm pretty good at mustering. So
What's the weapon of choice?
CRF 250 quad.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I get that thing buck wild. Getting I get loose on that. Yeah, I love it. So I'm a bit of a quad god. But yeah, I tried to go to two wheels at one point, and I had this cow chase me, and I had to ride an XR70 flat out at a fence and jump over the bars.
Really?
Yeah, because it was going to run me down. So I went back to the quads after that. So the good thing with the quads, you can, if two big bulls they start fighting, the bulls, and then they will not stop, and you actually just have to like ghosty the quad into them to break them up. So that's one good thing about the quad, because you can't really ghosty an XR70 at a bull. But yeah, so we do that, and then yeah, just in the yards, just 40-degree days, dust, no water down, like can't even breathe. I just come back black of dust, and yeah, moving bulls out from cows, and you know, marking calves and all the different things. But yeah, full farmer.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, I hate work boots though.
Oh, what do you run?
Like Air Maxes.
Air Maxes with
my dad hates it. Get some work boots. I'm like, no.
Fuck, mate. I love my blundies.
Yeah.
I got a pair of Blundstones that are just the most comfortable boot. As soon as it hits winter here, and it's not like too fucking hot to wear them, blundies all day
I
long.
honestly think though I've never worn them because I've just never wanted to admit I'm a farmer.
Yeah, probably.
I've always been like, I'm a motocross racer that has to go farming.
That-
So I've like
yeah.
had this thing in my head subconsciously that like, I don't wear boots. I wear sneakers.
That's so funny.
But yeah, no, it's good. I enjoy it. There's been some times where I'm like, yeah, I could definitely do this when I'm done. Like, I love it. But I think I love it in winter and then just hate it in summer because it's so dry back home.
It gets so hot, eh?
But it's really nice in winter.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're sort of downsizing at the moment. Just once I go overseas, Dad wants to just follow around and buy a motorhome and watch me. So yeah, that's sort of how it's going at the moment. But yeah, we've just got some cows and stuff at home as like a little bit of a hobby farm. We live on 250 acres. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's not too bad. I don't mind it when it's small scale like that, but
Yeah.
you know, we've had up to like 1,600 head of cattle, and it's
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and they just love wrecking shit. There'll be like a 40-degree day, and you're struggling with the water because they drink so much, and one cow's like, oh, I'm gonna chew the float and fuck everything up now, and then they break the water, and then we have some stressful days, really stressful days.
Just ruining fences and all that sort of shit.
Yeah, they just love it, but it's a part of it.
Does is like bull riding big over there?
Oh yeah, like sort of out in the wheat belt and stuff, I think so.
Yeah, right.
Like Dad has friends that do bull riding and stuff, but like I say, I've always refused to be a farmer. So I've been a farmer without being a farmer. I'm like, I want to get back down to where my dirt bike is and my friends from school. I don't really want to stay out here.
How far is the farm away from where you lived? Did you like live on the farm?
So until probably 3 years ago now, it was about an hour and 10, but now we live a little bit closer and it's 45, 50 minutes.
Oh, so you'd have to drive there every day.
Yeah. And through COVID and stuff, when I wasn't racing, that was me every single day. Had to go out and check all the waters, check everything, all the fences, all the cows. So every morning, get up early, go to work. It's a pretty good deal, really.
But it would make you appreciate the life you have as a motocross rider, eh?
Dude, so much. Yeah. Now I wake up in the morning and my job is to pack my bike and gear in my van and go ride at a sick track with my mates all day.
Yeah. So this year though, so you don't have a contract for this year, right?
No.
So you're not getting paid right now to ride motos?
No, I've still kept Oakley, and they said to me that they've just matched my contract from last year.
That's so sick.
They're unbelievable. They said, even if you don't ride, we want to support you no matter what, which is sick. Nobby Underwear's stuck by me, which is awesome. Berry Sweet Strawberry Farms and Leanne, they're like one of my biggest sponsors and an early sponsor of mine.
Man, they're such an underrated family in motocross. Like they've supported so many people for so long,
and like big too. Like they've really helped a lot of people.
Yeah, shout out to them.
They've helped a lot of people. Even Toddy was with them for years. Jay Wilson, Jaden Rikers, like you name it. They've probably had a Berry Sweet sponsorship, but they just love the sport and they love helping out. And especially he would die for this sport. Like he's so cool. So.
Dude, oh man, I actually feel fucking so bad. I never met him, right? And then we pulled up to Manji last year, and I've always like wanted to meet him, and just to literally say like thanks for supporting the sport, like you're a fucking G. Anyway, we drove in, we were late for practice, like we were just about to start, and then he's like seen the van, he's like jumped in front of the van. I didn't know who it was, and I've just been like the rudest cunt, and I'm like, mate, we gotta go, like, and I was saying to Sam, fuck, we gotta go, because I was like tripping. I wanted to ride practice because you only get a few laps there. And I was like, fuck, Sam, we got to go. Sam did not care about riding practice at all. Like, he just doesn't give a fuck. And I was like tripping. Anyway, then I found out that it was Ant from fucking Berry Sweet. And I was like, oh, such a dickhead. And then I didn't get to see him all weekend. So anyway, this year, I'm going to try and say g'day.
Yeah,
because he's just such a legend, eh? From everything that I've ever heard, he's just such a legend.
No, he loves his podcast too, so he'll be listening.
Oh, really? Yeah, well, sorry, mate. I'll see you this year.
But yeah, it's a pretty cool setup there too, because his son Kyle, who's a year older than me, he's like one of my best mates. So me and Kyle just hang out and do shit all the time. So I'm always around them. Go down to their place. They've got a house on the water, so we go fishing and hang out. So as much as they're a sponsor of mine, they're just like
family.
I'd run Berry Sweet on my helmet no matter what, even if they didn't sponsor me. So they're just awesome. So yeah, big shout out to them. And then, Lusty's still helping me out. They're sending me gear and stuff, which is awesome. And yeah, a lot of my sponsors have stayed on board. The only one I've lost is probably KTM, which is obviously because I'm not racing. They can't afford to just, which, it's understandable. So we'll try to get some help.
So you're basically, for this year though, you're kind of like living still like you're a factory dude. And you're just trying to get back to it, even though you don't have...
Factory dude without bikes.
Yeah, basically. But so you're like, that's the plan, is like you're just still same mentality. Regan, still the racer dude. Every day is grinding, trying to get back to where you're at.
To an extent. Like, So I told you before, Ross lent me this bike to ride for the couple of weeks, and I go to the shop and I'm like, I'm not going to run Ross's bike into the ground, so I'll buy some chains, sprocket, everything, keep it going, grips, keep it fresh. $500, and I knew the people there, and they gave me a discount. I'm like, respect for privateers.
Yeah, welcome.
You guys are unbelievable. How you do it is beyond me. Like, wow, it hurt me to pay for that. For someone who's not making any money at the moment, like, I was like, fuck, that's expensive.
Oh yeah, even dude, even like just for us to go ride, like I spend probably $120 a week on riding, and I'm just fucking no one riding QMP at once. It's just like, Jesus, dude, by the time you put fuel in the car, put fuel on the bike, do whatever maintenance you got to do, pay for your fucking QMP deal, you just $150 every week.
Crazy, hey?
It's like $600 a month on riding once a week.
Things we do for the things we love.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, things we do for love. So we'll get close to wrapping it up here, mate. What do you reckon? 2023, Regan Duffy back on the start line.
Yeah,
kicking ass again.
Hopefully, that's the plan. If all goes well and everything goes to plan in my head, I would love to be back on the line in 2023, and I will probably be staying in Australia. I feel like I need to just start here again before I was to go overseas. You know, I could get fast again, but I don't really want to delve straight into an overseas ride or something and you know, just be out of my depth there. So I would ideally, I want to race here in 2023 again, do really well, and then progress from there. As for this year, 2022, I'm just taking it as it comes. I have no idea where I'll end up at. I'm riding again at the moment. I'm stoked. I'm having fun. I'm going fast for 3 or 4 corners before I'm tired, which is sick. And I'm just having a good time for this year. So yeah, I'm stoked.
Well, mate, I'm pretty fucking glad you're alive.
Thanks, Chase.
Don't go dying again.
I won't.
And best of luck, man. You know, everyone here's got you back, and everyone, like, honestly, just everyone in Australia wants to see you back. It's even, you know, competitors, sponsors, industry, fans, everyone. So
yeah, no, I really appreciate that, and I did want to take the time to say thank you to everyone that has helped me through this whole ordeal, whether it be friends, family, people that I don't even know that have helped me. And, you know, there's people that have helped me in ways that I don't even know because there's been so much going on. But yeah, to everyone that's listening, thank you so much for supporting me, and I'm going to do all I can to be back and be better than ever. So yeah, thanks heaps, and thanks for having me on, Jace.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.